Welcome to the welcome to the Shinachiku podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the true son of Naruto Uzumaki. His name is Shinachiku, and he's about to have his journey like no other. Hi, I'm Naruto Soccer fan in Kentucky, and this is Phineas. And
we got a third one.
And joining us for the first time is, tell us your name.
That's hey guys, how you doing?
How you doing? Is this the first time you're joining a Naruto podcast?
Yeah, it is actually.
Cool. So today we're going to talk about the true son of Naruto Uzumaki, Shinachiku. We're going to start with his personality. What would his personality be, in your opinion? You can start first, Katz.
Well, pretty much in my view, I think he's a good, a balanced combination of more leaning towards his mother's side, more controlled, more educated, calmer, but has some hints of his father's side, a bit of that trickster vibe, kind of someone who he doesn't go out for the pranks, but he does enjoy a good joke, enjoys a good laugh, keeps things lighthearted, but is more prone to leading his team as a serious. When the time comes, he's a very serious ninja when it's called for. The jokes and all that stuff. He's one of those characters that I would say that if you hear him joking, there's no danger. The mission's over. There's no danger. Everything's cool. But if he's not joking, then take things seriously because the mission's still on. There's still danger. There's still ways things that need to be taken care of. That's what I've always viewed him as personally.
So he's basically Spider-Man.
No, actually, Spider-Man's more of an actual. Spider-Man jokes all the time. I'd say he's more like Scarlet from G.I. Joe. That's one of her primary characters. She's incredibly serious, incredibly talented, incredibly skilled, but she has a great sense of humor. But you only catch that sense of humor when there's no danger, when there's nothing to threaten anybody. Until the danger's over, she's as serious as a heart attack. But once the danger's over, everything's cool. Yeah, let's have a good time. Let's go talk. Let's go joke.
All right, I can buy that. What about you, Vinicius?
I can pretty much get behind that as well, but I think he also likes to have a good time when he's not on a mission.
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. Someone who on his off time enjoys, like I said, enjoys the company of his friends and family, makes good jokes, does spend time studying and learning and advancing and training himself. But when it's not any of those things, he's having a good time with his friends and family. He might play a prank or two, but he's not going to go out of his way to do it. Yeah.
I don't know about Boruto, but how different is he than Boruto? Do you know anything about Boruto?
I keep track of it here and there through just the Heaven and Earth site and the postings that are done there. But to be honest, to me, the whole Boruto experience to me is a complete alternate universe that picks up around about I believe it's chapter 692, which was titled The True Ending. That to me is where at chapter 693 and beyond, the last movie and all that is complete alternate universe, alternate history. Yeah, so
that's how we're going to start with the first.
Or if your chat, you believe it's actually a dream from the Tsukiyomi.
Yeah, it's not to me. It's not for me personally. It's Hinata's Tsukiyomi dream. Everything past chapter 692, the true ending, is Hinata's Tsukiyomi dream. It's all in her head.
With some edits since Neji can't be in there.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with by how Naruto and Sakura got together. I'm going to have like the Saiyan Jedi and how they. You ever read the Saiyan Jedi's Shinachichu's First Adventure?
No.
Well, he and Sakura got together at Hokage Mountain, I believe. Is that where they happened, Phineas? Do you remember?
I haven't read it in a while, so I kind of forget.
Well, they got together.
There were so many tie-ins to that. I can't remember.
Right. Well, here's how I would happen. It would instead of the Hokage Mountain, it'll be at the bench where Naruto says, "You sure have a charming forehead. Makes me want to kiss it." And that's when it clicks into Sakura that Naruto was the one for her, not Sasuke.
No,
She,
no, go ahead.
yeah, she realized that it was Naruto she was supposed to be in love with, not Sasuke. Do you like that, Cats?
For me, actually, the thing is, I don't mind the canonical run of the way the relationship advanced itself. The um the Narasaka Manifesto that was written so long ago really explained it so well. The notion of that long journey, the journey taken in steps. You know, each advancement coming is an advance, or step in coming is an advancement of the journey. The journey of the relationship is what makes their relationship so good. That the trip, it's like getting to, you see the where, you know, where you're going to go and where you want to end up, but that journey along the way is what makes the trip important, what makes the destination so special. That misunderstanding of him disguising himself as Sasuke makes that is what makes the eventual, what should have been the eventual revelation, that it was him and not Sasuke, which should have happened later in the story. That's what makes that all the more important, where it's that's one of the things, that was one of the missed opportunities that should have happened, is that somewhere in there towards the ending there should have been a revelation where Sakura asks Sasuke about that moment, and he basically flat out tells her that wasn't me. You know, I was tied up at the time. And she realizes in that moment, holy crap, there's only one other person it could have been. And it hits her, and that's when the entire sequence of events falls into place and advances the story forward in a big way.
Honestly, I feel that's a good way to do it, but I really don't think Kishi is that smart or clever to remember that.
Well, he was if he was guided, well, he was guided properly. I believe that was Yanagi, or Yahagi, I believe, that was the editor that was working with him at the time. They were guiding him very well in that regard. They were keeping him on point and on focus, and keeping with, if they could have kept the story on point and on focus like that, it would have kept going. I think we would have gotten that moment, but things didn't. We ended up where we ended up. But like I
Kind
said,
of shows that most people need to be reined in a bit instead of just having free reign.
well, not so much
Right.
rain. Well, a little bit reined in, more like guided. Just make sure that, people, some artists, when they tend to go off the hook. When you let them off the hook, they tend to go all over the place. And sometimes you just need that firm voice and that firm hand on the shoulder to say, let's keep you in the middle of the road there, boss.
Yeah,
Everything's good.
That's basically what happened to Tim Burton in Batman. Batman Returns. Anyway, let's since they got together and then they get married. Would you have them Naruto be Hokage before he gets married or after?
Uh, hmm. That is an interesting story thought. Honestly, I'd say around about the same time, actually, or maybe a little before he becomes Hokage, and I kind of always had it in my head that he becomes Hokage, and then while he's Hokage, he takes the knee and proposes to her as kind of a kicker for the whole thing.
Yeah,
I
that
kind
sounds.
of, I kind of have it where he becomes it and he proposes right after he becomes Hokage to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
That's
And
usually how I have it, but it
yeah,
could,
I thought haven't read guide how he got the Hokage ceremony and Gaiden, but I saw a retrospective review and I said, "Oh my God, Tishi, what are you on?"
yeah, it was. I watched it. It was not fun.
Yeah, Naruto get punched by his daughter in the chest and knocks him out cold.
The
And I was
strongest
like,
ninja ever gets not one shot by a little girl.
really? Is that real?
Pity we didn't see Naruto wake up and his reaction after the fact.
They never did show that, did they?
No,
Ugh. Goes to show how Keisha can't write a damn. I heard that's too bad too because I heard his Minato one shot is decent.
that's what I heard too.
Anyway,
At this point, I really don't know what to expect from him at this point.
I was wondering about. I was I quit questioning him after 693 when Sakura cried to Sasuke. That's
Yeah.
that's killed Sakura as a character.
Well, that's when they really need that combined with what happened in the last movie, just and subverting the forehead moment with that tap at the end is just it really kneecapped her character, subverting her back to all the development that she'd gone through, subverted back to a 12-year-old with a crush is just yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad.
He here I made her real in my Kingdom Hearts Naruto crossover fanfic. I made her realize that after he he destroyed the village in Mulan's world for the monster. I am not redeeming Sasuke. Would he have a role in Shinakachu's life?
Which one or who?
Sasuke.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Sasuke to me, canonically for me, or at least in my head, my personal head canon, Sasuke to me is an example of after a certain point both fall and redemption. He comes back to his senses. He's brought back to his senses by his friends, the notion that he has his friends, and finally re embracing the true notion of what his brother always intended for him to protect the village. Not necessarily the power structure, not necessarily those in charge or the elders or anything like that, but the village, and which is the people. And when he comes into that, when he finally gets through his own personal, there's a story I wrote that was kind of based on the Coldplay song "Viva La Vida," where Sasuke kind of goes through that notion, where he comes into that regret and realizes how far he had fallen, has to build and climb himself back up. And when he gets past that and into that notion and becomes the protector of the village, of the people, that's where he stands as not necessarily the true hero, but that in a way kind of similar to his role in the current manga, that the hero in the shadows. He's the Hokage's right hand, the guy who's willing and able to do things in the darker shadows that the Hokage can't do or can't be seen to do. But he's Danzo, but without the notion of doing it at all cost, including undercutting everything the Hokage's work for, turning into being a villain. There's a difference between being able to do things that in the shadows that can't be seen in the light and becoming the villain to do the good things. That's where the road to hell starts getting paved with good intentions. But in Sasuke's case, he does have, it's again a combination in my personal headcanon. He has that combination of the uncle for Shinachiku because he's always around with Naruto and family. They always keep him close, showing him that he does have a family despite the one he lost. And there's the family that he himself is raising, which is the family in my head that he has with Karen, the daughter they have that again humanizes him even more, and which Shinachiku is part of Shinachiku's team. These two that have grown up as childhood friends together, and as they keep going like this notion of, like I said again, of him as a combination of both the uncle to Shinachiku and a mentor in many ways. Because again, this is where I do kind of curve to this. I do see Sasuke as a mentor to Shinachiku in many ways. Uh, the ability to show him that, yes, there is light and hope and good things like his father believes, but sometimes you've got to be more practical, more pragmatic. And both Sasuke and his mother would show him this, would keep him, or it would kind of be a triple thing, really. Naruto would show him the hope and optimism that you need to keep going. You got to have hope. You got to have faith. Things are going to get good. You can make them good. Sakura would be the pragmatist of the group. Yeah, things are going to be great, but make sure you're intelligent, make sure you're studied and trained, and you're well skilled to be able to take care of things, and make sure to take care of your family and your friends and all that. And Sasuke would be the guy who tells him, yeah, all those, that's all good and true, but make sure, remember, sometimes you're going to have to make hard, tough choices, and those choices are not going to be nice, and they are not going to do. Your father's an awesome guy, but even he has to punch somebody in the face every now and then to get him to listen. So I think that's what I think builds the character Shinichiko, that balance of Team Seven within the character that pushes him forward.
This kind of sounds like something that'd be in My Hero.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I agree with you on that. Even though I don't really like Sasuke, I think in this,
It is an interesting idea with him, and I do kind of get behind it.
yeah,
The idea behind Sasuke always should have been the rival who pushes the hero, who falls into darkness because of the manipulations of the system that destroyed his family, and the manipulations of those trying to destroy the system. So they're manipulating him. Basically, everybody was manipulating Sasuke for his own ends. And the end result should always be that Naruto and Sakura bring him back, not because of the system, not because of tragedy or anything. They bring him back because it's the right thing to do. It's the family. You are here, and it lets Sasuke get to a point where instead of everybody making these decisions for him by manipulating him with this, manipulating with tragedy, manipulating with the system, manipulating with all this pain, bringing him back to the point where Naruto and Sasuke say, hey, dude, your life, your choices, make them. You make the choice. And having him realize that, yeah, I do have family. And yeah, I can make these choices without everybody and their mother, pushing me to the darkness or pushing me to the light. Let me make the stand. And he does. And in my headcanon, that's what he does.
all right, that's very insightful. Um, yeah, I agree. I would have him be like Shinakachu's godfather, since he Naruto Sasuke is like a brother to Naruto, and I could also see. Let's talk. Let's now talk about his family, other family member, his sister Hanami. A lot of people have her as a prankster, like her dad. But
Yeah,
I see that too. But I also see her still having Sakura's intelligence.
Oh yeah, that's what makes the prankster though more fun, is that you have Naruto's cleverness as a prankster, but he was always more impulsive. When you have a prankster who has the intelligence and education of Sakura combined with Naruto's cleverness, you have a prankster that's absolutely devastating, because it's not just paint the Hokage monument, it's paint the Hokage monument and put a jutsu on it that makes it start talking. And then nobody can figure out who the hell did it and how the hell they did it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see Naruto saying, "Yeah, that's my girl."
That's my girl, and that's the thing. Everybody knows who did it, but nobody can prove squat because she's too smart for it. So you end up with somebody like Shikamaru having to go, God, this is a pain. How the hell do I know who did this. I know I can prove it. It's gonna be, but I gotta go through some serious trouble to get it.
But I can see Sakura's catching her after and forcing her to clean it up, and she says, "Naruto, you're gonna help her, or you're not gonna have any ramen for a while."
Yeah. Oh, that's an absolutely a picture to me. Just the notion of Sakura being in her office, being all studious, Naruto being in his office, doing the work in his way he can. Then Naruto gets the notion from some of the guards that somebody's defacing the monument. So he pops up there and he sees Shinachiku and his sister Anatomy working together to do it. He's like, "You two, you know how much trouble you're going to be in. You're not doing it right." So he joins in with the pranking, and finally you go to
yeah,
Sakura, who's working diligently in her office, who has one of her assistants go, "You may want to take a look at this." Ino pops in and says, "You may want to take a look at this. They're up to it again." And suddenly you kind of have this picture of the bunch of them working on the monument. Naruto standing there proudly with the kids looking at the work they've done. When you hear this, Naruto come floating across the village, and all three of them say the same thing, "Mom." And they
yeah.
all realize that, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. Like he'd actually still be active in it in his pranksters with his kids.
yeah,
Actually be there for them.
yeah. Unlike the certain scumbag we know in Baruto,
Oh god, that character is just.
I think he's I would say he's a parody of a Naruto, but even a parody of Naruto is more closer to Naruto than
Well,
Boruto's dad.
all the
Yeah.
all the behavior issues in the characters are just. That's why to me the whole thing is non-canonical AU because uh, a character who's completely dropped all pretense of ever keeping his word, completely dropped all pretense of caring for anybody. A son who despises him because he's working doing his freaking job. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
It's not even like Naruto is that busy. He could have his shadow clones do it.
Oh yeah.
exactly. That's what he does in my head canon.
Oh, mine as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. I mean,
And
if
yeah,
And you know
he,
what? Here,
Mhm.
here's what happens when one time when Sakura was about to give birth, Naruto was at a boring cage meeting. Shikamaru tells him and said Sakura is about to give birth. He says, I'll be right back." Then he sneaks off and says, "Shadow Clone Jutsu, you stay here, and I'm gonna go for to be with Sakura while she's giving birth." And then when they found out that it was a clone, he said, I could see most of them complaining, except for maybe Gara, and he's being and he's saying he's being there for his family.
being a father, actually, personally for me, Naruto, the instant he learned Sakura was giving birth, he'd look at all the others and just say, "See ya, kids," and he'd be out of there. He'd be out of there in a literal flash at that point, because it would just be like, "Yeah, mom's giving, Sakura's giving birth. Bye," and all the other Kage would be like, okay,
Yeah,
he'll just have Shikamaru be at the meeting.
yeah,
Defer to him.
Shikamaru take over. Bye, gone.
and
Shikamaru's like, what?
and I
Bloody
could see
pain.
Naruto doing this heartwarming speech of saying, "You guys come first whenever it's my job, or
Yeah,
if I had to choose between my job and you, Shinachiku,
yeah,
you come first because when you were born, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
yeah,
You and your
absolutely,
sister."
absolutely.
That's how he should act, but now it's like he actively avoids his family.
I haven't read much, but I heard he still drinks a lot and around his office and acting bored. That does not sound like Naruto Uzumaki to me.
No, no.
How do you get complete opposite of the character?
Right. Let's talk about his friends. Who, let's talk about his friends. Who would you have his friends be, and who are their parents? Phineas, you go first.
The only one I can really think of that would actually work is Shikamaru's kid that he had with Tamari.
Yeah, that's the only That's the only one that's from the actual canon that's I'm putting in my head canon.
And maybe is Sasuke part of this? This is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Then maybe have Sarada there too.
Only she's Karen's daughter,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
and
she was so clearly intended to be Karen's daughter. You could see that in the design alone.
yeah. I can
yeah,
see. Yeah, how could you not put two and two together?
Yeah,
where does she look like Sakura in any form?
Outside
I
the
mean,
outfit, none.
the outfit. Yeah, that's about it. The outfit and yeah,
When I saw her the first time on that horrible day, I was like, "Why does she look like Karen?"
Karen. I mean, there was no way that was not what was intended.
When do you think Kishi planned? And I use that in quotation marks. Planned Naruhina.
I don't think
Well,
he ever did.
he's
He,
given like
he
three
never
different.
did. Yeah.
Despite because Greg said there was like three different times he said he planned it, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
If he did plan it, to me, it had to be one of those things where it was either at the very, very beginning he intended to put the two of them together and just left any sort of development out because of the nature of the story, or he only did it to me. I guess where I really think he did it was at the end, where he finally had enough editorial interference and pressure to finally say, "Okay, fine, you want it, here it is." And he just says he planned it. He says he always planned it just to get people off his back as best he can. Yeah, yeah, it was always planned. You can tell it was never planned though.
No,
Of,
because
of all of all the times
if
he
you
had
actually look at how
to
much
develop
Hinata's
it.
in the story,
Yeah.
because she's
I don't
not.
think.
Because I had James check my math on this. He said she's not even like 3% of the manga.
She's not. Well, she's not. But it's also the point of what's more importantly, though, is you can actually take someone who's only in 3% of the manga and you can make them important if you develop them properly. But if you look at, especially in a relationship notion, but if you look at the relationship between the two, he had multiple opportunities. There's several things that go with it. One, he had multiple opportunities to develop them as a pairing. Never happened. Ever. Doesn't happen ever. Two, he had multiple opportunities to grow her as a character because, strictly speaking, character wise, the character is utterly and completely redundant. She could be replaced at any time in the manga with generic Hyuga number 3 or with another character to the same or greater emotional effect in the scenes that she's in. You could remove that character, Hinata, from the manga in its entirety, and the manga itself will not skip a beat. If
I
you remove,
agree.
yeah, if you
Yeah,
because there's no other development past her one singular character point, which is Naruto. Her only character point, plot point, is Naruto. Anything
Yeah,
past, there's nothing else in there. Take that one plot point away from her, and again, the character is a blank slate, a blank slate, a teaspoon, a piece of paper that could be replaced by any number of other characters to better emotional effect.
I mean, you could have Iruka in the pain save, and it'd work just as
Well,
fine.
I mean,
yeah,
you look at all three of her basic moments. The proud loser speech that could have been given by Sakura, could have been given by Iruka, could have been given by Kanahamaru, could have been given by the old man.
Shikamaru.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
even
Lee,
Shikamaru could eventually have done it. Yeah,
or Lee.
Lee could have done it. Absolutely. There's any number of players, any number. Sakura herself could have given that proud loser speech because she'd seen him growing by that point. Any number of
Exactly.
characters could have given that speech, the proud loser speech, to the same or better emotional effect than she did,
Exactly.
and would have
Yeah,
actually had more reason to see him growing in that fashion. Her um oh shoot, what was it? Her moment to see where she was traveling with him when the search for Itachi. Again, big chance for them to grow as a character, grow as pairing. Nope. She ends up being there only for her Byakugan, so she can see that Kabuto has taken in Orochimaru's DNA. Again, could have
You could have
replaced her
used
with.
Neji.
You could have used Neji for that. You could easily have used Neji for that, or had a generic Hyuga in there for that. A generic Hyuga female could have done that with no issue. There's no.
to be fair, that whole Naruto party Itachi's hunt really had no purpose even being there to begin with. If you actually look at it,
Well, I mean, the purpose of Itachi's hunt was to find Itachi, because if you want to find Sasuke, Sasuke's after Itachi. Find Itachi, Sasuke will come to you. I can see the logic in that. But it ends up, when it ends up with the fact that they lose him because of Obito. Yeah, so there you go.
I just feel like it was just a wasting time to pad out the arc till Sasuke found Itachi.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if the point was to delay the game to get so Sasuke could fight Itachi, yeah, I can understand that though.
and I thought I thought I didn't like the cop out of Itachi being good all along.
No, I have no problem with that. That was actually an interesting twist for me. The notion that he, not so much a good guy, but he was someone who was he was protecting the village, doing it in his own fashion.
He was
Yeah.
basically the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. That's basically what he was.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what about other characters? Like, does Hinata get with anybody in your head
Probably
canon?
Kiba.
Kiba,
Yeah, I mean,
either Kiba for fun, or uh, a hin or a Hyuga, some Hyuga individual who, as a branch member, that she marries one of the few times where she marries for both a combination of, or if she marries for political sake, she brings the branch family in via this marriage to keep no to do what she promised Naruto she would do, unite the Hyuga clan. One of those two would work for me either way in either story.
I'm
So would she
having
be leading the Hyuga with Neji, or would it just be Neji leading it?
Net. No, actually, I would have her because my headcanon for her is in the wake towards the ending. She witnesses Naruto and Sakura's final confession to each other, and the two of them kissing. And she, in a similar manner to one of a dojin that was done on DA that I can't remember the title, but in a similar manner, she witnesses this, runs away, is basically heartbroken for herself, but looks up to the sky and she sees a bird flying away. That's Neji's sacrifice, and she realizes as she goes that she can't just keep being the little girl anymore. She's got to grow up. She's got to become herself. So she sees this bird and she makes the promise on the bird that is Neji, turns around and walks away. And in her wake, you'd kind of see the spiritual image of her younger self running back towards Naruto and Sakura because that's what her younger self did. But her older, more mature self says, no, got to grow up, time to move forward. Always have a special place in my heart, but it's time to move forward, time to go. She moves over, goes to her father, and straight up tells her father, I will take over this clan. I will become this clan's leader. And her father basically said, her father kind of looks at her and just gives her this look and says, okay, do what you will, do whatever you're going to do. And she and her little Hanabi go off and talk to each other because Hanabi's got stars in her eyes because big sister's suddenly so cool. Meanwhile, her father's kind of looking back at her and looks and sees her, gets this proud papa smile on his face, like, yes, that's my daughter. I'm so proud. But I see her growing like that, and then some years later, the time skip, she is married to a branch family member or married to Kiba potentially, and she's leading the clan, keeping the promise she made to both Neji and Naruto that she would change the Hyuga clan for the better, and she's doing so.
yeah, I can buy that.
Yeah, it
Uh,
actually sounds like it's actual character growth.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
exactly.
your headcanon of Hinata is better than Kishi's Hinata. More
Well,
Or
mature.
most head
yeah.
cannons I see.
The
Yeah,
idea behind the idea for the character is to grow, and not it also comes to the notion that not every character has to be paired up with every other character.
No,
You
they
can
don't.
you can
Nope.
take a generic character to make you know a future for these people and ensure that they get the job and ensure that the character continues to grow in that regard.
Right. Let's go back to Shinachiku as a ninja. What kind of ninja would he be? And when he and I could see him. I can also see him. He doesn't want to become Hokage because of all the pressure, but Hanami does because she wants to protect the people that matter to her.
I can see a potential for either one actually. In my head, Shinachiku is again he's more closely akin to his mother in regards to a combination of education, intelligence, chakra control, medical ninjutsu, but he also mixes in a bit of Sasuke's teaching, with practicality. A good he's Shinjiku is someone who should have a combination of very rich chakra combined with incredible chakra control, combined with high intelligence training and cleverness that makes him pretty overpowered in many ways, but he's balanced by the notion that he tries to I think he'd make him very strategic, far more tactical and strategic in regards to his thinking than he doesn't have the same impulsiveness that Naruto has, or Sakura even in some cases.
Yeah, I could buy him planning strategies whenever they go on a mission, and they listen to him like he's a leader.
Yeah, not he would definitely would have very charismatic leadership qualities. He would definitely be the popular kid, and the difference is unlike Naruto who whenever somebody would get in his face, in Shinichiku's case, he'd be like, dude, why are you getting in my face for? If you want to prove yourself, let's train together. You want to fight? Okay, all right. Well, we'll go have some sparring sessions. Let me show you what you're doing wrong. Let me show you how you can improve yourself. I see him literally as being a leader. That to me is the best epitome of him as a ninja. He is a leader, charismatic. He gets people to follow him, but he doesn't do it by shouting. He does it by talking to them and listening to them and saying, "Hey, you're taking in all ideas and saying, "Hey, let's do this right." Sasuke and Karen's kid is kind of his right hand man. Another kid who's very intelligent, has a lot of training and very intensive training, high level of chakra control. That would be part of the big strength of that team. High levels of chakra control, high levels of intelligence, high levels of strategy, and just a wide variety of jutsu, which combined with Shinichiku's healing abilities makes the team very, very formidable.
What
Right.
would his elements be?
Uh I'd say a combination similar: wind, water, maybe a bit of wind, water, maybe a bit of electricity, wind, water, lightning, something in that
Yeah,
combination.
I could see that too. Because
If he does wind water, he can make ice.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, only remember the mix of the two only comes in certain combinations when you have the knack for it. Just because you have fire and wind doesn't mean you can create, or just because you have earth and water doesn't mean you can make wood automatically. They canonically stated that it only comes in certain very specific genetic. That's point of fact what happened to Aku. His clan basically had the ability to make ice and were wiped out because of it.
Hmm.
yeah. Uh, I could also see him perfecting perfecting the right making better Razagons better than his dad's.
Oh yeah. Well, with the type of control he'd have, the Rasengan would be an easy learn for him, especially with the combination of control and efficiency he'd have.
Yeah, I could see him making him a Rasengan sword. Wait, it'd be something cooler. He makes two of them and he uses it against his first opponent.
I think it'd be more for me. It'd be more if you use the Rasengan to be more straight up exactly what it is. Though you actually could take something like a Rasengan buzzsaw when you combine the Rasengan with him using chakra scalpels, mix chakra scalpels into a Rasengan, turn it into a bloody buzzsaw.
Oh,
Not only, yeah,
that sounds cool. Plus, if he wanted to, he could probably learn his mom's medical ninjutsu to like destroy a chakra network if he wanted.
Yeah, yeah. I could I could see him being a little bit bossy. He has Sakura's he, since he has Sakura's anger, he has a little bossy attitude.
mm, no, I think that comes more into again. I don't see him as being bossy. The character at least strikes me as he strikes me in his younger years as someone more calmer, just calmer by far. Someone who just far more mature for his age. That'd be where you get from Sakura more than anything. Far more mature for his age, far more willing to sit down, listen, and talk things out. Now I could probably grant him I grant he'd probably have a little bit of temper. He'd have a little bit that temper would be there, but it would be more along the lines of, do you really want to poke? In his head, it'd be more like, do you really want to poke this bear and find out what I'm like when I get pissed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, would Shinakachu be afraid of his mom when she gets angry?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that to me is what I personally see. Getting him angry is incredibly difficult. It would take some serious bad stuff to get him angry. But once you got him angry, it'd be like, holy crap, why did I do this? What in the world was I thinking?
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with somebody who's incredible. That's the whole point. You're dealing with somebody who's incredibly intelligent, clever, tactical, and strategic as it is, and who has incredible control and techniques that are insanely lethal, including the ability to boost his physical abilities to incredible superhuman levels. And you just added the function of anger to them. You've added this cold, vicious anger to them that now they want to go from talking to you and trying to talk you down out of your problems to actually wanting to hurt you and having 5 million ways to do it. That's Shinachiku to me is the prime example of the old saying of there are three things all men fear: the sea in a storm, a night with no moon, and the anger of a gentle man. That's what
Good blue
Shinachiku is
stars
temper
here.
wise. That's what Shinachiku is temper wise to me. He's the gentle man, the person who doesn't get pissed easily, but when he finally does get very angry, watch out. You've just made a big mistake.
Well, welcome, Blue Star.
Hello. Who's
Hello.
here?
Welcome.
Who's here?
Me, Vanitas, Catsby, and you for now.
Catsby, did you say?
Cat's eye.
That's
Cat's
sorry.
Cat's eye. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I probably won't be here too long, but I'm just curious of what has been discussed so far.
Well, we're talking about Shinachiku as a character.
Okay. Well, from what I have generally been described, what's been described with him, when generally with other Narasaku fans, I would see Shinachiku is, in terms of temperament, is more like Minato, but occasionally has his mother's temper, where, like occasionally getting angry like Sakura. Usually when like his dad Naruto embarrasses him, or he gets annoyed at his sister Hanami's pranks.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
And even then, I would only see him getting temperamental about her pranks only when she gets reckless in the process of doing them. Not either reckless or not doesn't think about the consequences of her pranks. If her pranks can end up causing trouble or problems, it's one thing to do a playful prank like painting the Hokage's faces. It's another to do a prank that actually potentially causes someone harm or harms someone's business or something. Then yeah, I could see him getting mad at her and going, "Okay, we got to draw the line here."
Well, I'm not sure if Hanami would do something like that, though. I do know that there was once a headcanon of once turning, Shinachiku or Shina's head pink as a bit of a laugh, but since it made his hair look like his mother's, he's actually quite chill and happy about it.
Yeah.
But when it's more like something like gets him more annoyed, like say, I don't know, splashed or ruined his hair look, or maybe clothes, or I don't know, something like that, he gets a bit more annoyed and punishes her. And let's see, well, when it's like pranking like like the girls that are having a crush on Shinachiku, it's either let's see, because Hanami has a sort of I suppose you could say brother protective mentality of driving away the girls that Shinachiku is too nice to decline and all that stuff, which on one hand annoys that she's getting in her personal life, but does appreciate that that she's looking out for him and all that stuff. But one thing I've also learned that he tends to learn, that he hates dad jokes, particularly his father's, but he hates his grandfather's much worse. But he definitely thinks that the worst combination is those two doing dad jokes together.
Hopefully, he doesn't meet Tai Yang from Ruby.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea what you're referencing.
It's a web series, and the character makes a bunch of dad jokes.
Okay. But yeah. Okay, I'm hearing some music in the background. Sorry, it was just kind of distracting, but yeah. But yeah. In terms of how he would compare himself to his parents, you say he inherited traits from both of them, but of course, when Naruto does something embarrassing, he'll probably go like, "I'm more like my mom, more like my mom, I'm more like my mom."
I can definitely see that. Yeah, it's like gotta be more like mom. Gotta take control. Gotta keep control. Gotta keep control. But
Yeah.
whether I don't think it would be in a negative manner either. It would be like, gotta be like mom, gotta be like mom. Can't laugh, hysterically in this whole thing.
And generally, I also see him. Yeah, also I know that he tends to have a fascination with slugs, even the most boring, trivial stuff that no one cares about.
Yeah, in my
What
head
were you
canon,
thinking of the Sakura there?
right. In my head canon, he's voiced by Johnny on Bosch. And since he was in Power Rangers, he complained he was a frog. He says, "I don't like frogs."
Okay, I didn't quite get all that, but
It was from Power Rangers the movie. He says, "I'm a frog."
I'm a frog. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see Johnny Young Bosch doing him, or either him or Rico Fajardo. Either one of those two would be great voice for.
yeah. Well, I don't recall.
Rico Fajardo.
Well, I'm assuming that these are all English dub voice actors, but I do know if you look on the channel Shinachiku Kozen, which is it's the upcoming project that features Shinachiku. There's a channel that has done a bunch of test voices for those. Let's see, for those who would be asking people who they think would be the best Japanese voice for Shinachiku.
Yeah, I saw that.
You probably might want to check that out, or anyone who is watching this might want to check it out. But yeah. I also say that in terms of when he has conflict with his father, as we know that Boruto had conflict with his father, though that one was, as we all probably agree, was poorly written with abandonment issues. Shinachiku is more like a sort of Konohamaru in the fact that people treat him more like, oh, he's the Hokage's son, he's bound to do great, it's expected of the Hokage and all that stuff, is that he sometimes gets a bit of an inferiority complex that he doesn't even reach up to his dad, but when he does, people just say, it's because he's the Hokage's son rather than being himself as an individual. And this is generally how the headcanon of Sakura suggesting to Naruto that Rock Lee be his sensei, since Lee is more of an expert in helping someone develop their own hard work and skills, since Lee was sort of like that himself.
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
Lee being one of his senseis, would he have multiple teachers?
Yeah, that would be my actual headcanon, is that he doesn't just have one; he has multiple teachers. Rock Lee, because he basically, I don't think I would see him having an inferiority complex, except maybe as a younger kid. But he'd grow out of it very To me, he'd grow out of it very rapidly, very mature, and he'd have multiple. He'd do that because of multiple teachers. Shikamaru teaching him strategy, tactics, and patience. Rock Lee teaching him hard work and dedication to a cause, and like I said, persistence. Sakura teaching him medical. Sasuke teaching him, to be practical, pragmatic. All these teachings, that to me is what would make the strength of the character. All these teachings coming together from all his friends in this one character, letting him grow in that regard.
Well, from what I can generally say, the general census is around is that Naruto teaches him techniques like the Rasengan, and he develops his own Rasengan, like he has Wind and Earth style. So he does a sort of Earth style Rasengan in which he names some sort of magnetic Rasengan because he's got the naming qualities of his grandfather. But generally, of course, he learns like medical ninjutsu or some medical ninjutsu, at least the Byakugo seal from either Sakura or Tsunade or both. But generally, he has Rock Lee as his Genin sensei, and that's where he learns the 8 gates, which allows him to, which generally people combined with the Byakugo seal and the 8 gates, so that he'll be as, like, say, powerful as Mike Guy or like that, but possibly survive with the Byakugo's healing abilities. Let's see, I'm not sure if it's confirmed if it works like that in canon, but I think that's the general idea. So he can get power similar to like Naruto when he's going 9 tails. But generally, in regards to Sasuke, from what I can tell, there's never really any where Sasuke is directly teaching him in a sort of master-like thing with like a sort of Jiraiya relationship, or like Sasuke and Boruto, if you will. But I think there's like the general headcanon I've seen is, at least from those that discuss Shinachiku, is that Sasuke tends to visit the Leaf, and he has his like own spare room at Naruto and Sakura's residence, and he left these pair of swords behind, and Shinachiku secretly sort of borrows them and practices with those swords. Now, let's see, it's hinted that Sasuke knows he's borrowed them, but doesn't, let's see, punish him and all like that. So, indirectly, Sasuke has given him a sort of gift of sword style, but never really stated indirectly training him. Shikamaru, I've often seen, instead of being, say, like Shinachiku sensei, they've often have him being Hanami's Genin sensei, where they have him try and deal with Hanami's sort of like reckless behavior, and leads to all sorts of drama where Shikamaru tends to tries to keep Hanami and usually another team member, usually a sort of like fellow female kunoichi, usually like Hyuga. I've forgotten the name what they often associate with this one from let's see fighting each other. Sorry if I can't remember the Tumblr user who did this, but yeah. But I'm not sure. You might see this one pic somewhere where Shikamaru is holding both Hanami and this Hyuga girl from fighting each other, as an example.
I haven't seen that one yet.
No,
Alright, if I find it, I will show you.
How many gates can Shina open?
Sorry, what?
How many gates can Shina open at first?
Shinachiku? I think it varies on writer to writer, and let's see what part of the story do you do.
The thing is, it's more not so much how many could he open. Probably open all 8 of them with his capabilities. But what would he need to open with the way I've got him set up? If he were opening gates, he'd probably only need to open 1, maybe 2 max, because you're already dealing with somebody whose chakra control is so fine that he can boost his strength to absurd levels as it is. But when you add in the gate, I mean, if you really add in a gate which already like doubles or even triples your power, you're basically dealing with somebody who can go full Tsunade levels with a single gate open.
Well,
incredible speed and incredible power.
I don't think people make Shinachiku that strong with just the 8 gate, but there is at least one image. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. I'm certain there's an image somewhere here.
That to me is the strength of the character, the way they're designed. It's just the way the character's set up for me, at least in my opinion, is he's someone who can do incredible feats with the bare minimum of effort.
Yeah,
not because of...
I get that. That's what you've generally set up. I'm just trying to explain the general census of what people often say with Shinachiku. And that's normally 8. Let's see. Hold on, 8 gates. I'm sure there's an image. Here it is. You can find it on the Narusaku wiki. Do you mind if I share screen it?
Sure.
Let me see if I can. Let's see. Oops. Share screen.
Well, wait. Why don't we talk about the villains he faced? What kind of villains would he have to face?
Well, hold on. Let me just. Yeah. Let's see this image here with the. Okay, I think I might have. Yeah, this image here you can see with the Byakugo and 8 gates. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Hold on, let me just select tab. Yeah, hold on, let me just. Yeah, this one here. You can. This is normally like Shinachiku at his powered up form. As you can see, the 2 swords I kind of mentioned, the Byakugo seal, as well as one of the 8 gates are unleashed here. Depending on how, I'm not sure which one this is here, but you could say this is like either 7th or the 8th gate.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Might be 7th. Like The Heodora thing.
The what?
Isn't seventh Heodora the tiger?
That's generally the move that is associated with the seventh game.
Yeah. But yeah, and that looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let's move. Let's talk about the villains he will face. Now, in order for him, he's got to have good villains to top.
Yeah.
Lord knows. I mean,
Well,
surely he'll be better than Ten. What's his name again? Into the last, I forgot.
Well,
I know. I remember his name. I just said it wrong on purpose.
Teneri, I think.
Yeah, I said it wrong on purpose because he was so bland and forgettable, and his motivations were weak that even Dr. Evil would say, "Really?"
See, for me, where it should have ended in the manga, it should have ended with Madara as the final villain. Once they took him down, as a little bit of a kind of a post-credit scene, is where you have Black Zetsu showing up and like, okay, now we do things for real. And that's where the last movie kicks in, where the villain is. That's where the villain is. Oh God, what's her name? Why is her name escaping me at the moment? But where
Cayuga, isn't it?
Cayuga, yeah, where Cayuga is the last. She is the villain in the last movie, where you've just unleashed where Black Zetsu finally unleashes the ultimate power, and she comes in, and it's like, okay, now shit has hit the fan, things are real. All the nations have to come together to fight this goddess. That would have been a great move for the last movie for a villain.
And if she had a personality.
Yeah.
Well, manga-wise, I suppose most people would like save Kaguya for like a sort of like spin-off or manga or maybe a movie series type of villain.
Yeah.
Or similar to like how any of you lot read Percy Jackson, right?
Yeah.
You know how in the first book stories the main antagonist was Kronos and to an extent Luke Calrissian, right?
Yeah.
And then in the follow-up sequel book series, they had sort of Gaia awaken as like the next big bad for that.
Really?
It's sort of like I think it's my friend Lucky Chi has compared it to a similar situation to like that. Though I will say that's generally if the people want to use sort of like manga-like villains. Some might even try and maybe like you might even use like the cult of Jashin as like a group to explore as like a group. But I will say there is one that like I mentioned like the Shinachiku Kozen project before. I will say some people make up their own villains, for example, like that try to disrupt Naruto's dream of peace. You know, like how the five nations are all united. Yeah. But there are these ninjas that want to try and resort to the villagers back to the old ways of fighting and conflict. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
that's
one of them is, for example, like in Kozen, for like the story that they're working on, they've created a new mysterious foe. As you read on the Naruto Sakura Wiki, as like someone called the True Fox. As this is a description here, it's a new mysterious foe who refers to himself as the True Fox, speaks to the downtrodden suffering, promising true peace, but restoring to the world to its proper function. And the first thing is to overthrow Naruto and crush his dreams of peace. And this villain is named Mododoki, the True Fox, first sets his sight mainly attacking the Sand Village. Although the villagers have strong alliances now, if Sun and Akona particularly have the strongest because of Naruto and Gaara's friendship. Let's see, it's like if this alliance breaks, could the rest of the alliance easily crumble afterwards? As Mogodoki, disguises himself as well as some of his followers as Konoha Ninja and attack the Sand Village, which includes harming one of Gaara's children in that conflict, sort of like implying that one of the villains that in that series somehow is able to replicate Naruto's Nine Tails powers. So yeah, you kind of got villains like that depending on which universe you're creating, like ninjas who want to try and destroy Naruto's shinobi peace and alliances.
Yeah, that's similar to what I had a run on as well. Just a combination of people that want to go back to the old ways of doing things when the villages were all separated, but also that they utilize people that were caught up in the middle of the wars themselves, the devastation and damage, the smaller villages that were destroyed by the bigger villages, the refugees that were displaced by the wars and the damage and such, that type of thing. People that want to see the tailed beast because they think the tail, a mix of people that want to see things go back to the way they were, but also want to see things change because the big villages have been destroying them for ages and ages, and that's what they attack. That terrorists that use that type of thing. Also, kind of in the play of people that have how the ninjutsu has evolved a bit using you have people using technology and science to emulate ninjutsu. So you also have kind of a thing similar to Avatar or the core Avatar with people using technology to emulate bending. They use similar thing with technology to emulate ninjutsu, and they use this to try and tear down.
To be honest, I think when it comes to technology, most people don't try to making technology advanced, they don't try to make it too advanced like it did with Boruto, which had like a bit of a large time jump because, you went from sending messenger hawks to laptops, so...
No, not that big of a technology, but more things like similar to the bracelet that was used in Boruto. That bracelet that has elemental powers built into it. That bending jutsu.
But I don't think most people who write Shinachiku fanfics tend to include Boruto tech, to be honest.
No, but that was I had that before Boruto ever came out. It was always that idea.
But
Jedi.
Normally, like when it comes to like dealing with small villages, the normal one that I tend to see people focus on is the Rain Village because, well, Naruto never really addressed that in the manga, and the Boruto anime shows that he's still done nothing from it, and it's still in a rotten state post the war. Sorry,
I think Kishi forgot about that village too after Conan died.
Yeah. Sorry, Kentucky, you were about to say something?
I was about to say something. We never know about the Uzumaki clan. How about we learn more about the Uzumaki clan?
Generally, there are stuff. Generally, Shinachiku fics or stories tend to focus on the Uzumaki, though I will admit, in terms of Uzumaki ability-wise things, the one that tends to get the focus on that is if they write him in is Arashi Uzumaki, the third child or the second son of Naruto and Sakura, the little brother that looks pretty, the one that has like the general Uzumaki redhead features, who tends to be born on the same day that Kushina was also born, as there's Arashi was sort of like the Naosaku tribute to Kushina. And for example, Chat is currently doing her own like sort of Naosaku fix, and eventually it's going to lead up to a story that focuses on like the Uzumaki clan, with Arashi being the sort of focus, which, for those who don't know, Arashi is arguably well trained in the ninja arts, is probably the least ninja-like of like the Uzumaki siblings, and tends to be more like a sort of hermit sage like Jiraiya, where they have him traveling about, and he's sort of like I suppose you could say like a Pokemon trainer in a sense. But in terms of like summonings, he tries to collect all types of summoning seals and different types of animal contracts, though he mainly tends to use a tiger.
Yeah.
Normally, he's a sort of more reserved member of the family in terms of personality, but of course, generally, you have like Shinachiku and Hanami protective of him, and of course, he looks up to both his siblings. But normally, when Shinachiku gets involved with Hanami's and Naruto's pranks, let's see, he expects that much from those two. But when Shinachiku gets involved, he thinks his brother's being silly. I'm not sure if you know, for example, like maybe this happened last year, but when it was like Naruto's birthday, you had a collage of Naruto fans drawing Naruto's birthday where they had
His family.
yeah, well, they had this like Ritzy, Naruto, Shinachiku, and Hanami painting on Naruto's face, adding some features. And then the following artist added some other bits, Ritzy, with like, next one you had Sakura scolding all three for doing that. And then the final follow-up picture I saw was pretty much Arashi calling Shinachiku Baka, because it's like, he expects that behavior from Naruto and Hanami, but he's expected better from his brother.
Right, you see him as this cool older brother that does no wrong.
Well, maybe not necessarily cool older brother, but I think he expects him to be the more mature between the three.
Yeah.
No, granted, let's see. I would recommend let's see. Those who remember Chat Georgina, she has done 3 separate videos explaining each of the Uzumaki
Yeah, I saw.
children.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
so-
those.
They were very interesting and point.
Yeah. She generally has general info on what each of the Uzumaki siblings do, their personalities, and the relationships with the parents, as well as their abilities. But yeah, go on.
I wonder if there should be like a cult of the Otsutskis.
They actually did one in the anime.
They did?
Yes. Okay, you know that. Hold on, let me just get his name up. Because, like, let's see, most of the members of Kara are pretty much forgettable.
No, it's Boruto things. I don't really know anything about that, but
Well,
I know. I don't know an episode about Barto. The only one I know is that he did a sexy jutsu one time.
yeah, he does it a few times, but
Back.
there's a
Imagine-
member of the
Imagine
Otsutsuki.
doing one. What
Okay,
was-
that's it. Hold on. There's a member of the Otsutsuki called Bora. This let's see. In the anime, they made it so that he was in charge of this Otsutsuki cult, which Kara uses for their own sinister purpose, usually manipulating people into thinking Infinite Tsukiyomi was a good thing, stuff like that. But I haven't really watched the episodes, but I do know that they've used the pawns for them. I've just sent a link in the description so you can tell which villain. But I just know that in the manga, that he ended up fighting like the new Team 7 and got killed by Boruto when he was possessed by Momoshiki, the Utsutsuki that he killed in the Boruto films.
Question: if Shinachiku was there, would Momoshiki still be able to like control him, like do the karma marking?
What, Boruto?
If this was Shinachiku, would that still happen?
Well, I'm pretty certain from what I can tell, most Saku fans stay away from the plot line of Boruto as much as possible. Don't really include the Otsutskis too much. If anything, they might include Kaguya, mostly for lore reference, but normally they don't. Let's see, they don't include the Boruto Otsutskis, and if they do, they create their own ones.
Okay, I always just wondered about that.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame him for wanting to distance themselves from Boruto as possible.
The Shinachiku has plenty of room character-wise in the world for the world to grow, but I can see a lot of it beyond the terrorist angle that was already mentioned. Just the notion of reaching out via the alliance to the smaller villages and saying, hey, we're here, let's get you on your feet and get you going, and finding the conflicts therein that they have to deal with in that process, dealing with the combination of anger, resentment, or even the people that are helpful and say, hey, we're glad to have you here, so that type of thing leaves there's a lot of it room for character growth as well as story growth in that. And you can even throw in, as you said, the mentions of Kaguya and potential followers that Kaguya had that want to go back to, that want to bring that up, that could potentially, or after effects from the movie that was put in, that could be used as a story grow.
I will say there was one Naruto fan that did a sort of Naruto Explain, I think. Or, it might have been Naruto Explain, I can't remember Cole, but they did a what if Naruto and Sakura get married, and did a thing of like what would happen if no Sakura family followed the story of Boruto, but I think the Sakura-san got killed at some point because he didn't have the car markings. But so, yeah, it's not really one I would say Sakura fans would probably enjoy, but yeah, but normally outside of that, I've mostly seen people just try to avoid using Boruto characters as much as possible. Granted, I have seen some use Sarada as the Sasuke and Karin kid, but I think generally most people, when doing their own Sakura fix, try to do their own Sasuke Karin children and not use Boruto, let's see, families. They might use the Boruto pairing couples, minus, of course, Narahina and Sasusaku, but generally I don't see them try to not associate with Boruto as much as possible. There might be a few fanfics or stories where they have Shinachiku or Boruto crossing into their respective universes for like multiverse stories, but generally they try to keep away.
Yeah.
I read this one fic where Boruto came to Shinachichu's universe. And he was he was still unlikable as he is in his own story.
That I do not find surprising.
Yeah.
In my case, I just have all the Otsutskis get killed before the story starts. Only Kaguya being left.
Yeah, to be honest, some might not even just have the Otsutskis at all. But yeah.
Yeah, you were gonna have how you could give her a personality.
Because let's be honest, the Otsutskis were created as a villain group for like to associate with the Hyugas, so they could have a Narahina kid in the spin-off.
I just assumed they were brought in last minute because Kishi couldn't beat Madara.
Yeah, I think that was the purpose, but this is my theory, but I theorize that given the fact that they seem to be associated with the Hyuga clan, this was like the studio's way to tie into the Naruto last movie they were doing.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It didn't really work because it was too little too late.
Well, it was also forced. You can't, that was the entire point of all the problems of the last movie. You can't crowbar in, 690 plus chapters of development that's needed into a 2-hour movie and say, yeah, this is how it all came together.
Or you just undo the 699 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically what Disney did to Star Wars. They undid it. They undid the Star Wars canon.
Well, to be honest, the EU Legends, to be honest, that was always questionable in canon. And while, yes, pre-Disney, it was canon, but it was never considered George Lucas level of canon because, as George has stated many times, that he doesn't read the books, he doesn't follow them, and he will contradict them when doing his own things, like when he did with the prequels and the Clone Wars. He may use ideas from them. For example, the name of the galactic capital, he took Coruscant, and he liked Ayla Secura he liked the design of Ayla Secura from a comic cover that he saw, that he included her into Attack of the Clones. And he was even intrigued by Quillen Voss. Stuff like that he would use as canon, but he would never really follow the EU or like that, despite how some fans might have wanted the Thrawn trilogy to be the sequel trilogy, but that was arguably never going to be what George Lucas would have done if he had did the sequels. But in many ways, when Disney and the EU were to erase the EU canon and made it Legends as a separate universe, that in many ways that would arguably probably make sense if they wanted to do like sequel trilogy films, because they don't want to try and, because like for casual and newcomers, they probably didn't want to try and get them all confused with like the massive continuity that the EU has had, because because there's quite a lot of things that happened in the EU, like Thrawn, Palpatine cloning himself,
KOTOR.
Yuzon Fong, in which Chewbacca
And
died by a
making her Ray's great grandfather.
Okay, yeah, okay. Look, I'm not saying what Disney did with the canon in the sequel trilogy era was good or bad. I'm just saying that the EU is a very complicated continuity with some of its own issues. Some of it might be due to like George's own works and movies and the Clone Wars, but generally it would have been a mess to try and adapt all those stories. So at best, Disney will take perhaps inspirations from the old EU, like they're now doing with like the Mandoverse, with like Luke building up Thrawn in that as a cinematic villain for like say Thanos. But it's I'm just saying that's why Disney doing it. But I'm moving on from like, we'd probably best bet to get back to Naruto because
Yeah,
we could go deep into that particular wet rabbit hole if we want.
yeah. If we keep on talking Star Wars, we'll be here all day.
yes.
Moving on. Let's give Hanami her own arc. What would her first arc be?
Normally, the arc I see Hanami for is, and this ties into Shinachiku, is that when Shinachiku was younger, he initially wanted to be Hokage like his father, but as time moved on, he didn't really want to be it. And this did cause a bit of tension with Naruto, not because Shinachiku did decide not to become a Hokage, but it seemed like the way Shinachiku was implying that he was sort of dissing the Hokage role, and that led to some tension between the two, with Sakura being sort of like the one in the middle trying to ease the two from fighting. But eventually you have Hanami wishing to being like ideally being the one to follow her father's ideals and continue his dreams. So she wants to become Hokage. As a result, you kind of have Shinachiku helping her to support her from her dreams. And Ritzy, and she becomes, say, like the Hokage either after Naruto or Konohamaru, depending on if the fanfic writer wants to make Konohamaru the Hokage after Naruto. Oh, by the way,
Sakura is Hokage. There we go.
I think the way people generally write, let's see, Sakura, it's like, let's see, she's like a sort of like Naruto's right hand woman, whereas Shikamaru's the right hand man. So it's like some might say she's sort of like an unofficial co-Hokage, but generally Naruto, of course, is the Hokage. But generally, they usually have Hanami being the Hokage some point after Naruto, either directly after him or after maybe someone like say Konohamaru. And there's this one funny image where let's see, where someone draw when Hanami finally comes to Hokage, she just realizes something and her brother asks, and she realizes that I'm now in charge of you. And she's like,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and she's like,
I think I did too.
Like thinking, oh boy. Other than that, I have seen some people try to make Shinachiku a member of the police force.
Yeah,
but yeah. But generally, the general goal for like Hanami is that she eventually becomes Hokage after her father and tries to continue his dreams and ideals.
I see most of her arc in a similar vein. Yeah.
Would you make Naruto an overprotective dad when she has a boyfriend?
Shockingly, no. Actually, more one of the awkward dad who welcomes everybody in, but kind of has against like, I mean, he's the Hokage, so you have a whole bunch of people that are trying to always live up to him. It's like, yeah, the Hokage, I'm gonna get in with the Hokage, and Naruto's just like, dude, just be your bloody self. You want to date my daughter? Just be your bloody self. It's more funny. I see his family being warm and welcoming to everyone, but basically weeding them out as they go, as they find the ones that are either trying to get with her because she's the daughter of the Kage, or who trying to basically use that, and just the very rare few that actually see her for what she is, they're actually able to be with her as a person.
Well, I've never really seen much people focus on like how Naruto and Sakura would react to like Hanami's boyfriends.
Yeah.
Though there was in the Narusaku signs, one of the stories they had was Shinachiku being concerned when Hanami was interested, starting to getting interested in boys. But that story just turned out where Hanami was doing a kissing game with like a boy her age, and Shinachiku got involved to try and prevent him from kissing her sister. It turns out she was doing a sort of thing like, did see a box of things you gotta kiss, and amongst them was a toad, in which when Shinachiku realized where it was, dropped out, but Hanami forced her to kiss the toad. As a result, he got some sort of illness from like kissing the toad and had to go to his mother. But generally, from what I can tell, there hasn't really been any fics or stories that much that have focused on how Naruto react to Hanami, at least from what getting a boyfriend, from what I have seen. But I have seen some pics where, where Shinachiku as maybe seemingly getting a female friend, going on a date, or even getting a girlfriend, where Naruto and Sakura are very curious that they're watching sort of like in the trees, kind of like that one filler episode where Team 7 was spying on Kakashi, which seemingly he might be going on a date with this woman.
Yeah, I definitely see Shinachiku being the big brother in that regard. Like, he'd be the far more suspicious and far more questioning of Hanami's potential paramours.
Yeah.
But like I said, you'd have to order one of the Narusaku design books to see that story.
I think I have some of those. With
Yeah.
that comic you mentioned, Blue.
Sorry, what?
I think I have that zine with that comic you said.
Yeah. I've forgotten which one it was, but it's one of them.
I miss those. Maybe they're not doing them anymore.
They do them once every year. Let's see. I think they're planning to do it. There will probably be one next year.
Okay.
So at the moment they have just at the moment they do it like a certain time of the year, and I think it's already passed for this year. I think I've got mine particularly. I think this year or last year, but there will be a Narusaku. There's likely going to be another Narusaku sign at some point. You just have to wait, probably around the time when it's closer to Narusaku Day.
Okay.
But but I'm not really involved with the Naruto Sakura merchandising aspects, to be honest.
I just try to keep up with it.
Speaking of Narusaku Day, as you know, tomorrow's the 10th anniversary of the horrible ending.
Wait, what?
It would be the 9th anniversary.
I said
the
next year.
Anniversary would be 2014.
Yeah, I said
it ended in 2014, so it'll be 2024.
Yeah,
10 years since the last came out.
Man, I remember where I was when that happened. When I saw the ending, I was so bummed that morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway,
back to Hanami.
Yeah.
Let's finish off with her on what would you think her strength
abilities are you saying?
Her strength.
You're saying personality or abilities? Did you say?
A little bit of. How about personality first?
Hanami is being described like from what I can tell, a sort of female Naruto, but it was like in terms of being like in terms of being a prankster. In many ways, you could say she's like the daddy's girl, if you will.
Yeah, definitely daddy's girl. Where Shinachiku is mama's boy.
Yes.
Yeah, but I could also see her being bright.
If you want, let's see. From what I can bring up the Naruto Saku wiki and see what people generally.
My general in her is again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she's also intelligent too. She's also, but her intelligence is where Shinichiku is more a combination of highly intelligent and educated. She is both intelligent and educated, but she's more highly clever intelligence. She uses a lot of that sneaky trickery, clever intelligence. Her any intelligence she has genius wise is pushed more towards is pushed more by its impulsiveness.
I will say, it is generally. I do see in general fics that people have her as like the best intel gatherer, but the wiki generally describes that Hanami's personalities varies depending on the writer, but there are a few clear traits that are shared amongst most of the fandom. As like I said, she's often depicted as a papa's girl, and she has Naruto's goofy, light-hearted demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
She's mischievous like her father and temperamental like her mother. Another common trait is her admiration for her older brother Shinachiku, particularly in combinations where Shinachiku exists and is the older child. So, like I said earlier, she's arguably protective of her brother when it comes to dates, and will scare off dates that she doesn't think Shinachiku is too polite to turn down. So yeah, but she generally tries to tries to prank everyone, though this often gets her clashing with her mother Sakura, who is trying to prevent her from causing too much mischief in the village. So there's like that. And let's see, of course, like I said, she ideally wants to be sort of like a Hokage, like her, let's see, father. And I'm sure, let's see, you probably might know that depending on like the fic, like I said, she tends to have a bit, like I said, maybe clash with like maybe a female team member on her team. But in certain fics, I've seen that when Sasuke has a daughter, the relationship Hanami has with that daughter can sometimes be very similar to like that with Naruto and Sasuke, where they in like the early stages of part one, where they get on each other's nerves and sort of like have those staring eyes rivalry kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find a pic. Sorry.
And I can see Sakura telling her this: "Don't be like me when I was a little girl. I was obsessed."
To be honest, I'm not sure how much Sakura would. I'm not sure how much Naruto and Sakura would bring up on the fact that Sakura used to be a bit of a fangirl having a crush on Sasuke. I mean, on one hand, I can probably. Let me finish. From what I can tell, the only time when that's been addressed in fanfics, I've often seen. I did see one pic where, in the Ash Shinachiku, where Sakura once tried to explain to Shinachiku that she used to have a silly crush on Sasuke, but on Uncle Sasuke, but she moved over it. But Naruto teases her by saying, "Silly crush, you used to be obsessed," and she gets annoyed and says, "Take that back, Shanru." And after her and Naruto start arguing, you just see Shinachiku thinking in the back of their mind, "Sounds fake, but okay." To be honest, I don't really see perhaps let's see so it's kind of like I think Shinachiku, Hanami, and Ashura would probably find it hard to believe that their mother had a crush on, say, someone like Sasuke.
Okay, I could buy that.
But yeah, I could see maybe but I can see maybe fanfic writers trying to warn Hanami not to be boy crazed obsessed. But from what I can tell, normally she doesn't really seem to be focusing on boys when she's younger. I think it's more like pranks.
Yeah.
But, I know, but go on with what you were describing.
Yeah, when she's a teen, she can have a crush on somebody, but we won't talk about that. Well, how about we're gonna talk about other kids, like Shinachi's friend, like some people still have Sarada there. Only her mother is Karen.
Karen, yeah.
Yeah.
Her and I also do a full female Ino trio because Shikamaru's got to have a daughter. You got to have a daughter with Shikamaru. That's just the funnest thing for me. An all female Ino trio is just an absolute that to me is absolute hilarity.
Like I said, depending on the Naruto Sakura artist, it varies from artist to artist. Though I have found an image where those who are specifically Hanami's team. If you are curious, which actually I now actually found some of the pics that I was describing earlier. If you don't mind me sharing.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just get it up. There we go. So as you can see here, this is generally one of the teams I've seen for Hanami, where this one girl here is a Hyuga, from my understanding, not the daughter of, say, like Hinata or Neji, or a Neji Hina daughter or something, just a member of the Hyuga clan. And from what I can tell, this teammate is one that is involved in him being initially being a spy to infiltrate the Leaf, but eventually warming up to the Leaf. And you can see some of the images of them being a team here, also one of Hanami being Hokage. But here's the pic, generally, which I described earlier, of Hanami and the Hyuga sort of arguing and, Shikamaru breaking up the fight.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She looks way cuter than him and I don't know Naruto's or the scumbag's daughter's name, but I don't really care.
You mean Himarai?
Yeah, I can never describe her name, but I don't really care, like I said.
Okay, but yeah, that is but yeah, like I said, it varies from artist to artist. Like Kat here prefers doing an all-female Inashika Cho trio.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
But I know, I guess
way too much fun to not do it.
What about Ino? Would she have kids?
Oh yeah,
Um,
at least
who?
one daughter, yeah, minimum. I've always paired with Choji because I just like the idea that there's an interesting dynamic there, and the notion of those two having just a number of kids is a fun thing, especially with kind of turning it into a bit of a competition with Sakura. It's like, I'm on my second kid. Oh, I'm on my third. Uh-oh. Just continuing that fun sisterly rivalry between each other. I'm on my fifth kid now. It's like, okay, you win. I think I'm stopping at 3.
If you want, I could also share the screen of like some of the famous Naruto children that are on the Next Generation children that are on the Naruto wiki, if you want.
Sure. And if Ino had a daughter, maybe she had a crush on Shinachiku.
Yeah.
Fully plausible.
As you can see here, there's quite a variety of let's see, these are some of the more popular unknowns, but these are some of the sort of like these ones here are sort of like Uchiha Sasuke kids, as you can probably see. I think Anansu Uchiha is a very popular one. This one here, Uzumaki Akira, is going to be in Shinachiku Kozen.
I see Rika. I know who Rika is. Rika is
I know that one too.
Yeah, Rika is the love interest in one of
Shinachiku's love interest. I think it's now Saku first generation or something.
Yeah, she's the daughter of one of she wasn't a daughter of any of the ninjas Naruto knew.
Here Tome is, I believe, a Sasuno child that I think some fanfics have Shinachiku and her crossing like a multiverse story and their meeting. And I think from what I can tell, they seem to be okay with each other. I think they're not weirded out that they're children from different couples from a parallel universe. But yeah.
something I might do one myself with Naruto, Naruto Naruto, of course, being the main character, and other multiple Naruto's join him, including
Yeah.
Naruto.
Sounds
Yeah.
like across a Spider Verse kind of.
Yes, and
And-
Naruto is the Gwen Stacy of the group. Only
Yeah.
she is married to Naomi Sakura.
Well,
Yeah.
imagine a Spider Verse where basically you have Naruto with the mass shadow clone jutsu. Every one of the shadow clones becomes an alternate version of Naruto in some twisted metaverse type way. That's
Let's see. Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, that might be interesting, but who knows? But also, here you have Raku. I think a Gara child. It might have been created from another fanfic from someone outside Nasaku, but I think Nasaku fans have gotten permission to use this child now and then. Here you have some like Inoshika child children here, like Shikamaru's daughter with Tamari here. You can probably tell by the hair design.
Yeah.
And an Ino side child from
Looks better than the actual one, to be honest.
Yeah. I think those
Not
two
his pale skin.
Yeah. I think so like I said, those two are going to be a part of the Chosen project. Sorry, what?
One that looks like Shino.
What are you referring to? This one here? Oh,
No,
this one here.
On the road, the right.
Oh, yeah. Aburame Shizaku.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a few ones here. This is like the Choji Karu daughter from the Kozen universe, from what I can recall.
Wait, did Kiba and Tamaki get together in this?
Tamaki?
That like cat girl from the Uchiha hideout?
Kiba, I'm not sure. From my understanding, these let's see, these Inazuka children might not be necessarily related to, like, directly related to Kiba. It really depends on whether or not it depends on who they have Kiba end up with. Some might have Kiba with Hinata, some might not, but yeah. Though, interesting enough, depending on which universe, I have seen, these two here, Koga and Moyen, who's in the wiki describes as a member of the Shina clan here, but I have seen versions of these two that are not part of these clans, but are part of Shinachiku's team, with Koga being one that idolizes Shinachiku, and Moen just thinks that Shinachiku is the spoilt son of Naruto, while these two here, this Hyuga, it might fill the role of Moyan if he's the teammate of Shinachiku, and Kawa here being like Shinachiku's friend. So there's like that, but there's also like a few other than that. There might be some other stories that are different, but yeah. But here's like also another Tamari and Shikamaru child. This one being like a son.
I actually like that design.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice one.
Yeah, it's sort of like he's more takes up after his father, but with Tamari's blonde hair. And then you've got like a different version of Metal Lee, I guess. A few other Uchihas, a member of Shino's clan. Not sure if it's directly related to him or not. I think it depends on who's writing the fic. But here's accidentally. There are some Boruto characters here, but I think Dakiga here, but that doesn't necessarily mean people use it.
It doesn't really seem to disqualify being from Boruto either. Actually, the Kiba pairing up with a cat girl, that's absolute hilarity to me. That's fun. I like that idea myself. So having a dog guy paired up with a cat girl, that's just, like I said, there's a lot of fun story elements to that can be poked with as a writer.
But yeah, but as you can probably see from what I'm just let's see scrolling here, there's quite a few Lee children, Akimichis, and Hyugas, depending on who does. Not all the pictures are loading, so I'll stop sharing the screen. But yeah, like I said, depending on the artist or the writer of the fic or doujin or universe they're doing, the Narasaku Next Gen will vary. Let's see, Fernandes, do you have anything to say? Or
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, let's move on to how about Naruto's role in Naruto and Sakura's role in the story? Will they be just involved or just be sidelined? Like in
Absolutely.
I think Narasaku. I think generally Narasaku fans have them very involved with their kids' lives.
Very much, yeah. Very, very involved, but balanced to the point where they're there to assist the growth, to push the characters forward, not to dominate. Because with Naruto and Sakura being as strong as they are, they can easily come to dominate a story in its entirety, and that it's something where the kids themselves should be the ones pushing the story and the narrative forward, while the parents are there as both support and, if necessary, a fallback to, oh my god, Kaguya's coming down to destroy the moon is coming down to destroy the world. It's like, okay, kids, you did a great job taking down the main villain. Let you show how Daddy did it in the old days. And yeah, but something along that line.
Well, I have seen. I think there's some fan fics and stories where let's see, they split them up where like Shinachiku and his friends face villains more onto their level, while the parents in the older generation are facing a threat that's more on towards theirs, if you will. I guess you could say it's kind of like how part one used to do it, where like Naruto's generation usually fought other persons their age, or maybe teenagers, or maybe some of the more weaker adults, while the adults, like their teachers and all that stuff, would face like the big boys. Like how Naruto and Sasuke would fight, say, someone like Haku, and Kakashi would fight someone like Sabuza, or Naruto would fight like Kabuto, while Jiraiya and Tsunade would go up against Orochimaru.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same thing in My Hero as well.
It's sort of like that, really. I think that's generally how I've seen people usually write it like that. There might be, depending on some things, some ritzy project, some like stories that might have some friendly sparrings where you have, let's see, Naruto and one of their children on one side, and then Sakura and one of their other children on the other side, and they have a friendly sparring match.
Yeah.
There might be something like that as well.
Yeah.
But generally, in usually early stories, they will have they'll have something to keep Naruto and the older generation occupied, while Shina and the others will do their own thing. It's not like with Boruto, where pretty much you have Boruto's lot fighting the same big, powerful villains that you'd see Naruto and Sasuke fight.
Yeah. It would be. I would make it more epic.
Well, to be fair, you don't want to like go too crazy on the power scaling. To be honest.
Yeah. I could see
I feel like they should be doing like everyman kind of villains at first, and then escalate more.
Yeah, but in order for the villains to work, to quote retrospect Greg, you can't have all your villains be Vader. Somebody's got to be Palpatine or Frieza.
Well, like I said, it really depends on what type of story you're going to have your villains as. Oh yeah, one thing I think we kind of forgot to mention is the abilities that Hanami would have.
Yeah, let's discuss that. I think she would. I would think she would have a mix of her mom's medical jutsu, like her brother.
Well, from what I generally tend to see, Hanami takes more after, say, let's see, Naruto in terms of fighting style and abilities, really.
And I could also see Hanami take a little.
Let's
Shina,
see.
would she have an inner like? Would she have an inner like her mom, Hanami?
Well, from what I can tell, generally she tends to have Naruto's shadow clone abilities. She tends to summon toads like her father. Let's see, she has Sage Mode like her father, and also has the Thunder God technique. Though gets help from her brother Rashi to let's see, learn all the seals and all that stuff. So she's kind of regarded as like a sort of pink Flash. So she's more of Naruto based in her fighting.
She's definitely She's Naruto. She's a more well-rounded Naruto with better control because she doesn't have the problem of the fox inside messing around with her. So she's with the better control and with her chakra being just as rich as her brother and her brothers. That's what makes, like I said, that more well-rounded Naruto, more balanced and better in that regard.
In terms of like the chakra, I tend to find that given the fact that, let's see, most Naruto writers I've seen, since they're like 1/4 Uzumaki from like down from like the bloodline of Kushina, they tend to, while they have, let's see, strong reserves of chakra, they don't have like the reserves of chakra Naruto has, because, well, Naruto also has like the QB, so or the Nine Tails or Kurama, depending on how you want to name them. So initially, they're not going to be on like Naruto's level. There might be ways there they improve their chakra reserves. Shinachiku, that's the Byakugo seal, like the mother. And that army, I think that is more to do with stuff with like Sage Mode.
Yeah.
But I think that's generally what I've seen. But I think but in terms of nature styles, both, let's see, Shina and Hanami have wind, but let's see, Shina has earth and Hanami has water. From what I can tell, since Sakura had, let's see, the data books revealed that Sakura had earth and water style, which kind of proves chat's suspicions that at some point Sakura might have initially intended to have wood style.
Interesting for me is I've always
awesome.
with Sheena I went wind, lightning, and water. With Hanami, I always went earth, fire, and wind. As
well, like I said, it varies on writer, but that's generally what I've seen most people use for their nature styles.
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm not saying that Cat here is wrong. It's just that's just generally. I'm just generally saying what generally happens. But go on.
I think she would have when what I think her main power is I could. Sorry, I thought that was my alarm.
No, that was my alarm. But go on.
I think Hanami's main power would be that she uses her clones and they all do the perfect Rasengan against their enemies. And
generally, I don't really see people give Hanami the Rasengan. That's more of Shinachiku.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm not saying that you can't give her the Rasengan. I'm just saying generally that's the general thing. Sorry. Go on.
Would she learn that super strength thing Sakura's got?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, she doesn't, again, since she has better control in that regard, she would be able to learn it. And when you combine it with Sage Mode, you've got another powerhouse on your hand.
But let's see now whether or not arguably she probably might eventually become stronger than her mother, just because she does eventually become Hokage herself. But that's generally her abilities. let's see, Arashi is like I probably mentioned earlier, summoning techniques and sealing jutsus or finjutsu. That's generally the skills I see people give him.
Kind of see him more as like a cipher, stealthy intel guy more.
I think like I said earlier, Hanami is regarded more as the stealth and intel thing due to her prankster nature. You know, she has to be quite sneaky. Is Kentucky getting another Coke or something? Cool.
I don't know. Would she also have like a rival too?
What?
A rival?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, she either has that one Hyuga girl that I shown as a sort of rival in the team thing, or she ends up being a rival to one of Sasuke's fanfic daughters, depending on who's writing it.
Yeah. With Hanabi, she's Hanami, she's one of those gals that pretty much everyone would get along with, or is another one that everyone gets along with because she's another one who, unlike Shinachiku, who keeps everything cool, she's the one who drives the fun. Everybody follows her because she's fun. They follow Shinachiku because he's charismatic. They follow her because she's fun.
Well, no, I will say they'll probably be annoyed with her when she pranks them because she pranks everyone.
But because she's not more the type to do the type of pranks to just get attention, she does. I've always seen as the pranks are not there to get attention. They don't need that. They get attention. The pranks are there to call everybody, to loosen everybody up. And so everybody can get annoyed at it, but afterwards they're kind of like, that was pretty funny, you know?
To be honest, I've never really seen people write the pranks like that, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that's the mistake, though, that's made in that regard. The point of Naruto's pranks is I'm making pranks partly because I'm mischievous, but I want attention. The kids aren't going to need that attention. They've got mom, they've got dad, they've got uncles and aunties abound, they've got nephews, they've got cousins and brothers and sisters out of lawn, they've got friends, family all over the place, everybody respect. They've got the attention. So you don't need to play a prank to get attention. So there's only the other reason to play a prank is to have fun with it. To have fun.
Well, I'll definitely say that she definitely has fun, but I think it's also to be like her dad. But from what I can tell, normally when people write her pranks, I think she tends to prank everyone, and you tend to have people in the village, when they get annoyed, they try to get Naruto to do something, but he's just having, like what you describe, having fun with them. But it's more of like Sakura that gets annoyed with her and saying, would you stop doing the pranking and all that stuff? To be honest,
stop doing it, or at least try and include me in it, so I can at least keep you from getting caught. I think that'd be more Sakura's role in that regard. It's like, please stop doing pranks, or if you're going to do them, at least get me in on it so I can keep you guys.
Yeah, I think Sakura at that age wouldn't really want to get in on the pranks, to be honest. I think she would try to, from what I can see, she's the one that tries to get Hanami to behave, not go too far with those pranks and all that stuff.
I disagree slightly. Because we've seen that Sakura in herself loves that stuff.
Yes.
Inner stuff loves that stuff. And I think when she grows up and matures, she would have the opportunity to actually let loose a little bit more.
I think, let's see, well, yes, I do agree that Sakura does secretly love pranks, but I think she doesn't want to try and just keep doing pranks over pranks. And I think from what I've seen, people try to hide the idea that, hide the fact that she does enjoy pranks, because if Hanami learns this sort of details, she can try and justify whatever naughty prank she does, or try and just tease her mom constantly that you're like this. But yeah, so that's generally what I see. She's like Naruto's like the sort of fun dad, and Sakura's like the strict mom, from what I've seen. So not to, they can both have fun, and they might also both be strict in times. But I generally try to see Sakura trying to keep Hanami in line and not go overboard with the pranks, to be honest. She might like the pranks, and she might even appreciate her doing pranks when, say, Hanami's pranking her old bullies when she was younger, but I think generally she tries to keep Hanami on a bit of a leash when it comes to the pranking, really.
I would say that she is definitely the disciplinarian of the two, but she also, I think she more encourages her, just, when if she's gonna prank, be smart about it. Understand that there are consequences to what you're doing, and make sure that when you're done, you clean up the mess. Once you've made the mess, don't just leave it in other people's hands to clean up. You're the one that has to clean it up because you're the one who made it. I think that's where she would direct it. And then later on, after the cleanup was done, later on, over a bowl of ramen, that's where they sit down. They talk about and have fun, how they have a good laugh at it.
Well, I'm not sure if they would do like ramen and have a good laugh about it. Let's see, they might do something similar to that, but honestly, from what I can tell, they would do some other mother and daughter quality time. But I don't think Hanami would have ramen with Sakura that much. I think ramen would be like with like Naruto, not with Sakura. I think Sakura would be let's see. Let me try and find what Sakura's favorite
on Mitsu jelly. It's on Mitsu jelly, but I think it's see either one. I could see. I mean, I could see the ramen being the ramen being with Tenchi's being a family thing where they just hang out there, and that's where the family bonding occurs.
To be honest,
in the ramen.
I can see that with the ramen thing, but I think Sakura try not to have ramen too much because
not every day, but
it's unhealthy. I mean, she might do it more of like a treat thing, but I think she might try to get more healthy.
It's more from the point of a story aspect that you use the ramen shop as the place where the family goes for these little family talks. They don't do it every night, of course. It's like eating Burger King every night. But it's just that's at the end of the episode. That's where you find them hanging out, is at the ramen shop at the end of the anime or the end of that particular manga episode, per se.
Yeah, I've read this.
Hanging out at the ramen shop and talking about their issues. So
I read this one fic where Shinachiku was at the ramen shop, and he was making fun of, and it was during Hanami's first day at the academy for celebration, and Hanami was saying they're all fun except for Shino, he's weird, and Sakura of course scolds her, and then Shinachiku makes fun of him, and then Naruto laughed until he saw Sakura's glare and said, Shinachiku, you should know better than that. And then Shinachiku at first said, "What are you talking about, Dad? You were then he saw Sakura and said, "Oh, you're right, Father. I never should have. I should know better."
I think that's the thing.
Funny.
A lot of story-wise, you got to go with a lot of comedy, or the more humorous aspect of the newer generation.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Sakura would be more of the strict mom in terms of the comedy thing, rather than just like the hell yeah pranks that follow on with the pranks to go kind of thing.
No, she wouldn't be. I don't think she'd be the one throwing herself into the pranks so much as, again, directing them and saying, again, in that manner of, yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, it was hilarious. But now here's the problem. You've made the mess. You get to clean it up. That would be where mom would. And then afterwards, they talk about how funny.
Okay, I'm not sure she would necessarily be like. I think she might occasionally might enjoy a prank or two. But I think the fact that Hanami goes on and on and on with the pranks, I think she will. Be more annoyed than rather like enjoying for the most part. There will be an occasional pranks she enjoys, but. She would mostly be like, would you stop with the pranks?
I can agree with that, actually, that she would eventually kind of put her foot down and say, okay, kiddo, I do love what you're doing, but there is a line you're beginning to blur and cross here. And it's time to pull back.
I'm not sure she would ever say it like that.
Or something along to that line.
I think she said, I do like that you have a passion for this, knock it off. Something more like that. It would not be like, she would not be say anything that directly supports it, I think, because I think in many ways she's trying to raise like a young Naruto in a sense with like Hanami, because in some ways you could say Hanami is like a female Naruto, particularly in the terms of the pranksters. But yeah. But normally they do, of course, have their moments where they're having mother-daughter time. I think I've seen one fic where they dressing up and helping each other do their hairstyles and something different. I think I don't know. I can't recall the pic, but that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
I like seeing Sakura in a different hairstyle, to be honest.
Oh, I see her growing her hair back out long. That's a personal thing on my end. But...
like I said, it varies from artist to
artist. Yeah.
Artists. Some like to keep the short hair. Some might just change the short hair and style. But yeah.
Either works, really. I just wish Naruto had a better hairstyle currently.
Actually, I prefer the shorter haired Naruto. Too many people start trying to clone him to make him a clone of Minato. Just keeping a midline between the shorter hair that he has now and maybe about what he had as a kid, somewhere in that general vicinity, without going into this big spiky poof ball that.
Well, to be honest, from what I've seen, not generally, Sakura artists tend to draw Naruto looking more like the gutsy ninja from the
Jiraiya
fanfic. I think that's more of the.
Yeah, agreed. That's one I prefer as well.
Let's see. There are some that do draw the Boruto hairstyle, but to be honest, I'd rather not associate the Boruto hairstyle too much.
Again, I think
I just can't get behind it. It just.
I think we can keep elements. I think we can keep elements of it. That's the thing. I don't think we need to dismiss. We can dismiss the manga that we don't like, but there are elements that we can always look and go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I think dismissing the entirety of it is kind of a little bit foolish. Just dismissing the entirety just because we don't like or we like the whole aspect of it, because there are small elements that can always be good to discuss or fun and things. Oh, hey, that was pretty cool. That's actually a pretty cool idea.
Sorry about that. My mom called and I had to answer.
No.
What were you guys talking about?
Well, we're just debating whether or not Sakura, how much Sakura would like Hanami's pranks and all that stuff, and now we're talking about Naruto's hairstyle. Oh, by the way,
I think. Can I say what I think his hairstyle will be?
Yeah.
I see a little spikier than Minato's.
No, see, that's what we were talking about. It's just I hate the fact that people try to make him a clone of Minato at the end. That to me is just silly. I like what Blue was saying. Just that notion of him very similar to the gutsy ninja from the novel. That to me is an excellent design as a hairstyle. More mature, more adult, but more in line without making him a clone, without having that big poof ball on top of his head.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm just sharing one pic of where I see of Hanami rivaling with one of the Sasukaran children, as you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. As you can see, she's just shouting at. You see Hanami acting like Naruto, shouting at the Sasuke child, and the Sasuke child just responding in the typical Sasuke way. And you can see her reacting like that. That's generally what I see with some people when writing Hanami with Sasuke children. In fact, come to think of it, from what I can understand, one thing that Hanami is generally not really impressed by Sasuke that much, as I think she's more impressed by her dad.
Yeah.
She's like you said earlier, she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'd ever have to worry about Hanami falling in love with a Sasuke type boy.
No.
Good.
If I was gonna write Hanami fall in love with somebody, it won't be a Sasuke type boy like her mom. I was about to say something about Sakura's role as mom, I obviously I would make her the head medic of the Kahuna Hospital.
Yeah, that's generally the
Oh, yeah.
role that Sakura tends to have. And what I can tell, she's also one of the main members of like the Kahona Council that helps Naruto govern the village, alongside Shikamaru.
Right hand woman, head of the medical ninja. Right hand woman, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does he act as
I can see-
Hokage if like Naruto's away?
yeah.
Oh,
I-
absolutely. She could definitely be sitting in the chair while he's out and doing things.
Yeah, I can arguably see some people regarding Sakura as the unofficial host.
I've read a lot of fics where he and Sakura are so sexual around each other that their friends make fun of him for it.
Yeah, the rabbit, the rabbit Uzumaki's. I find that it's definitely humorous. It's something that's enjoyable, but I myself tend to tone it down. But I can see those two being incredibly affectionate with each other. Definitely all sorts of PDA, and even though
Yeah.
Sakura might try and keep it, she might try to keep it down in public. Once they're alone, they're going at it. They're gonna go after each other.
I have seen certain Narusaku writers, particularly the more smutty ones, make headcanon jokes that let's see, each of their children have once accidentally caught them in the act of doing, maybe not seeing anything too graphic, but it's kind of like I guess you could say it's sort of like a modern, like, you know, that one episode of Modern Family at the beginning of like the first season, I think, where I think you have like Phil and Claire's kids, I believe, trying to celebrate their wedding anniversary, breakfast in bed, and then they caught their parents in bed doing it, if you will. Maybe something more like that, though. I think there was one particular fan art I'd see where you just didn't see anything too graphic. Just Naruto, Sakura kissing in bed, but you can clearly say that they probably did it. But a young Shinachiku comes in and it's like, "Are you two wrestling, or what game are you playing?" And they're just like,
Yeah, I saw that.
what are you doing out of your room and all that stuff? But and then an older Shinachiku saying like, "Oh God, why did you remind me of this question?" As it was like an Ask Shinachiku kind of thing. And
Yeah,
so
I
it's
read those a lot. And
yeah,
I read that
Maybe more like a
enemy said
Simpsons
the F
thing.
word.
what?
I see
I
it
read
being
one-
more like a Simpsons thing.
I guess you could say it's like a Simpsons thing. I think they did once that joke on The Simpsons, but yeah.
I can see Shinachiku being the more mature party in that regard. Walking in on the two of them as they're going at it, it's just like, God, you two, get a room. And letting them go at it, but the joke being that he's glad that they're still, because like I said, I can see those two as a couple being affectionate all the way into their bloody golden years, with the rest of the group just like, are you two still going at it like bloody rabbits? You know, haven't your hips got hurt at this point?
Yeah. Well, Naruto has Karama, and I bet.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if he would actually use Kurama's chakra in those situations.
No.
To be honest, I think Kurama would probably not want to get involved in that. And
Yeah.
I
That's
think
true.
it'd probably be more like covering his ears and closing his eyes, humming when
Like-
that goes on.
Yeah, just
Naruto
going,
can already
taking a
go
nap. It's
for a
just
long
like, I'm
time
napping,
anyway.
I'm gone.
How about I can, you know what else I could see someday in a Shinachiku chapter? He talks to his grandmother Kushina in a
There have been some fanfics and fan arts where he's been able to communicate to both his grandparents and able to then send a message to Naruto. There have been some things like that.
yeah. I wrote
remember that one.
I also wrote one time, and that was one of my favorite things I ever written. Especially when Kushina says, "I am so glad your dad married that Sakura, not that Hinata girl."
Well, I'm not. Well, that's to be honest, I don't really find Kushina saying that about Hinata. I think
Yeah.
arguably it'd be more in character saying that I'm glad. Let's see.
I'm glad you're
found a
happy.
girl like me. Let's
Yeah.
see. I don't think she would badmouth another girl. I think that's a bit out character for Kushina.
Yeah,
Agreed.
kind of.
I think she'd be more along the lines of just, I'm glad you're happy. It's good that you're happy. That's the important thing.
Because to be fair, because she didn't even know who Hinata is.
No.
No, she'd be dead. Let's see, she wouldn't really know any of like Naruto. The only confirmed next generation kid, the Naruto's generation kid she knows of is Sasuke, because she met, let's see, Sasuke's mom just
Yeah.
as just as she was about to go outside the village to give birth to Naruto. I mean, that is that one doujin that was unfinished by Lady GT, in which revealed in a flashback that she met Sakura and talked about to her mother that wouldn't it be cool if our kids got married and we could become mother-in-laws. But
I heard
outside of that. So go on.
I heard Lady GT is coming back. Is that true?
Unlikely. From my understanding, she's now working at professional studios and with her own fan arts of work. I think even Jump has used some of her designs, from my understanding. Chat has more information, but I don't think she's likely to come back to the fandom, unfortunately, given the fact that when she left when it ended the way it did, and not to mention there was she was one of the most targeted for harassment from Narahina and Sasusaku fans. Even to this day, you still see them causing false rumors about her. I think that might have recently popped up recently. That might be where you might have heard something like that, but yeah. But I don't think she is coming back.
That's unfortunate. The ending broke her.
Let's see.
Look, a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of fans unfortunately left.
The ending broke. You know, the ending broke me a little bit, but it made me want to write Narusaku fix even more and love Narusaku.
And multiple Narusaku fans handled it all in their own way. Some left, some stayed, some turned, some did go into fanfics, stuff like that. Let's see, it's stuff like that. It's generally with like that, but that's generally how I've seen. But like I said, Kushina's only really we only know that Kushina knows about Sasuke. Though, granted, the Road to Ninja movie did have the Road to Ninja version of Kushina sort of like edge on Naruto to impress like the hero's Hokage's daughter, which of course was Sakura. So
the only thing I didn't go ahead.
No, granted, there is that one what if Naruto filler arc where in Tsunade's dream she reads a book by Jiraiya that has Naruto. What if Minato and Kushina raised Naruto's parents, and Minato only split Nine Tails half into both Kushina and Sakura. I mean Kushina and Naruto, sorry. And I do recall, I think I saw one screenshot where Kushina seemed to be pretty fond of Ino and Sakura. No, granted, I think that's mostly due to the fact that since this was post, since the canon pairing's already been made, they made it just Kushina just being generally fond of just any temperamental, any girl that's kind of like her, which, to be fair, does have a similar personality to Sakura and Kushina. So, but I can't think they would do it like a direct... let's see, Kushina supporting Naruto game with Sakura with any post-canon fanfics. Or fillers, if you will. But yeah. But generally, canon-wise, she's only ever met Sasuke, and that's when he was a baby.
Yeah. I remember that. I'm just saying that I was just saying I would have her meet Shinachiku in a dream, and she's been watching him and his family.
Yeah, I have. There are, like I said, fix like that. Anyway, I probably need to head off now.
Okay, Blue Star. It was nice to have you.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Let's see. I've got some things I need to do, but I was only going to really be here for an hour. Granted, I've probably been a bit longer. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you, and interesting chatting with you for the first time, Kat.
You
I will admit. So
Thank you.
it got a bit debatey on one end, but I think it was an interesting hearing your thoughts. But yeah, I'll probably see you maybe next time in the podcast or stream, but only if I remember or when it's
Are you going to
available.
be in Lucky Cheese podcast?
Yeah, I'll be in Lucky Cheese podcast. I usually am. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, I plan to be too.
Same.
so yeah. See you later. Bye for now.
See
Take
ya.
care.
Okay,
And that's actually, I think, my cue as well. I've got to take off as well, so things to do is on my end. It's been fun though. I didn't have a chance to talk something like this for a bit, so
yeah, we should
Yeah,
do
it was
this
nice
again.
having you.
Usually I do Kingdom Hearts podcast, but maybe someday we'll. Do you play Kingdom Hearts?
nah, I don't. I'm afraid. I'm more into RTSs and the occasional role playing game or things like that.
Oh, okay. Because if you were, you could have joined us in a Kingdom Hearts podcast. But that's okay. You can join us in another Naruto podcast someday. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Take care.
You guys take care of yourselves, okay?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
to you.
We're gonna continue for a few minutes before we. Can you?
All right. Yeah, I got time.
Yeah. After that, I'm gonna look for something to eat. Anyway, what about what can we talk about right now? How about Shinachicu's? We said we didn't talk about Shinachicu's love interest, did we?
No, I don't think so. Unless Cat and Blue did that when I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either. My aunt came in and I had to mute for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can talk about that. I would.
I think we briefly might have said it was Rika.
Yeah, I could see Rika.
I do kind of like her look. She is kind of cute.
Yeah, but do we know much about her personality?
I don't really know much about her since I really can't find much with her.
Yeah, because I don't want to rewrite her personality if I don't know if I don't know what it is. I hope she's like the Sakura of the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a tradition for a blonde Namakasi to fall in love with a hot-headed female.
So I wonder that across the Spider-Verse thing with Naruto, who'd be the Miguel of the group?
Would it be the scum? It won't be the scumbag Naruto, would it?
No, I think he'd be like the kind of Miles of this.
Yeah, but Miles is more likable.
I know, but you get what I mean. Like he's an anomaly. He caused all his problems that whoever the Miguel is trying to fix.
Yeah. And I could, you know what, I could see Naruto being the squint of the.
I can see that too.
Yeah, only she's married. She's a mom, and I could also see her be a mom carrying her baby like Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, while criticizing Jess for endangering hers.
Yeah, and then little Shinachiku crawls into something dangerous, and she catches him before he does something.
He goes, "That's being a mother, Jess."
Yeah. Yeah, I just love talking about Naruto.
Yeah. Especially when she's got like these powers, like the spider powers.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite version of writing her. That or the sports writer one. How about I would make her from like the Harano clan. We don't know much about the Harano clan. It's not
I don't know anything about most of the clans.
Right. That's true, but I mean, what I mean is, the Haranoon clan is not really a special clan like Uchiha's or the Hyugas.
No, they're not.
Or the Keep or what's Kiba's? Let's keep it.
Inuzuka.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and he tells Naruto about it, and he says, and Naruto can say, "That's my boy. You're falling in love with a girl like your mom." and what?
I just
And
Naruto and Sakura at least have chemistry together.
yeah, I see no chemistry with. I never. What made people think? What made people love Naruhina the first time?
I think First Evil says it best.
Yeah. Uh, how about what?
How would Shin and Rika's relationship be?
What?
How would his relationship with Rika be?
Well, I don't want to steal from whoever wrote Rika, even though she is fan made. It's still our character,
Yeah.
so I'll make my own version. Okay?
All right.
She won't. I'm pretty sure she won't mind that. Her Rika has a hot temper like Sakura, like I said, but she's still gentle. She doesn't love. She didn't like Naruto at first. I mean, Shinachiku at first because she thinks he was a snot, daddy's boy who gets his way just because he's the Hokage's son. But then she got to know him and start to like him. Does that sound cool?
Yeah. Like, would she be like there for him when he needs her?
Yeah, I could see them.
Like emotionally too.
Yeah, and then I can see I can see they were talking him having a bet, be friends with Sasuke's son. I think that there's this one fic where he has a son and he's best friend. There's this one drawing of Sasuke's son living with Naruto and his family. Because Sasuke's on the road and he needs his kid to live in Kuna. When I saw it, I was like, is Sasuke a good dad or a bad dad of doing that? I think bad because he's not there for him.
Yeah.
But he's also not putting him in danger either. I see a lot of fics where Naruto doesn't allow Jinin to go on dangerous missions anymore. Little kids. You know what? I can imagine Naruto putting his Shinachiku on his first mission and he's hesitant about it because actually he won't be because he believes in his son. I could see Sakura be worried, but Naruto says, "I believe in him, don't you?" And she says, "Yeah." But Shinachiku has your brains and my brawn. With that together, he can overcome any odds, and that's why I believe in him, and that's why you must believe in him too. And that encouraged Sakura to let Shinachiku go on his first mission.
I feel like you up the age that people can become ninjas at.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would mean. Where they go on mission.
What would the age be for them to like become ninjas? Be
16?
I'd say that's about good.
Yeah. How about they said this, they don't see Naruto as a overprotected dad when his daughter has a boyfriend. I can still see that.
I could see that too.
Yeah, because one thing, I think it's kind of funny. Another does he wants to protect his daughter, and she's a daddy's girl. He's not excessive as Mike from Bad Boys 2, but he's up there. How about Shinachiku? How about we never finished discussing his villains, did we?
I don't think so.
Would it be Madara returning? Would that be fitting?
Maybe.
Maybe his final arc villain.
Like what? Madara survived the war,
Yeah,
or they cloned him.
yeah. He survived the war because I think that makes more sense than cloning.
Because I'm pretty sure he died when the Ten Tails got extracted from him.
I don't remember much of the because
Well,
because
after
I
they sealed
blocked it off of my
Kaguya
mind.
away.
Huh?
Well, after they sealed Kaguya away.
Yeah.
You know what I'd have to do with the Otsutskis? I'd have
What?
Galactus show up and devour their worlds.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stand up to the power cosmic.
I don't think so either.
Plus, it's Galactus, a real villain.
Yeah.
Love to see Naruto try to talk no jutsu him.
Good luck. Or Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, Doom would not listen.
No. Naruto would try to give this power of friendship speech, and Doom would say blah blah blah. It'd be
Hello?
well until then I'm gonna have it. What happened?
Sorry, I got a call on my phone just now.
Oh,
I couldn't
that's
ignore.
okay. Yeah, my mom called earlier. I didn't answer, so I had to call her back. Anyway, how how about this? How about how about there's one story, one arc where Naruto is dying, and Shinagachu has to find a cure,
Uh,
and he says, "If I do die, take care of your mom and sister for me." And he said, "Okay, Dad." But he's
seen it trying to be strong, but he's just like he can't because he loves his dad so much.
yeah, his dad is. He thinks his dad is the coolest guy ever, and not
A
and
better
not
way of saying that.
and not a certain someone who started a war, killed his parents, and
Made his life a living hell.
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I am not over that.
No, I'm not either. Yeah, call the mass murderer the coolest guy ever.
Yeah, it's like if what's her name from Nightmare on Elm Street called Freddy Krueger the coolest guy ever.
Yeah. Or Lori called Michael Myers the coolest guy ever.
Speaking of Lori, I find it fascinating that Jamie Lee Curtis is a One Piece fan.
Really?
Yeah, she wants to be in the One Piece live action.
I heard some people joking about her being Robin. I think she is way too old to be Robin.
Yeah, I agree. Are you gonna watch that One Piece?
No, I don't. I don't watch live action anime adaptations
Neither do I.
because again, it's like video game movies. The anime part of my brain takes over, and I can't enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't know if I would watch a Naruto.
No,
A
I
Naruto
would
movie,
not watch a Naruto one because
even if it ends differently, where he doesn't go with Hinata.
I mean maybe, but I really would not trust it.
Yeah, if that happens, they would riot. There would be a riot, wouldn't there?
Probably. Probably.
We said
Kind of
Johnny on
Hanami
who would
trying
voice Hanami?
um good question. I think my obvious answer would be Michelle Ruff because I could see her being the sweet, innocent, kind of soft spoken Rukia, but then growing up in the actual Rukia's voice.
Yeah, how about Lucy Kristen from One Piece?
Ooh, yes, I could actually see her being. I could see Hanami having the. Actually, I could see her being more of like how she's voices Ochako in My Hero.
Yeah,
That seems more like in line with Hanami.
yeah, or I could see Lucy voice Rika.
Yeah, she'd have like the full Nami voice there.
Yeah, and they treat their relationship like Naruto and Sakura. Only it's she doesn't punch him as much because he's not stupid. Would you see Shinachiku being a ramen lover like his daddy?
Yeah, but I can also see Sakura keeping her family on like a strict diet.
Yeah, they were talking about that. I wish they said much, but like I said, interruptions.
Yeah, especially keeping Naruto on a diet.
Yeah, it'd be like it'd be like it'd be like John putting Garfield on a diet.
Or the amount of times Marge tried to put Homer on one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see
Homer and dieting is not gonna happen.
right. I see in Naruto, the Narasaku family being like the Simpsons, except not, but except
Not as dysfunctional.
yeah, and Shinakachu is not like and not as bratty as Bart.
No.
Bolt is, but Bart has some likability.
Bart has redeeming parts of him in some episodes.
Yeah, like the one where he shoplift and he wanted to make his mom proud.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or when he spent that $500 to get Lisa that record from Bleeding Gums Murphy after he died.
Yeah, I don't see Bolt doing that for his family.
Or probably probably a good one was the Lisa It's Your Birthday song.
Oh yeah, with Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I don't see Bolt doing that.
I don't see
I
Bolt
can
doing
see
it.
Sheena doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Then again, I feel like Sheena would also have given her a birthday present on her birthday instead of just ignoring it like Bart did.
Yeah,
Because I feel like Sheena and Hanami are like really close. Like he's always there being a big brother to her.
yeah. I love the Shinakichi's first adventure version of him. Especially when my favorite chapter, it broke my heart where he accidentally hit her
Yeah.
and she cried and she fell down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then Naruto demanded explanation. Sakura hit him.
Yeah. That's you. I don't think you'd see Hinata doing that, would you?
Well, they said they changed her character to be a scary mom in Bolt.
I don't see it. It just would not feel as genuine. It'd be more forced. They're forcing this on her.
I agree. When I heard that, I said, I don't believe it for a minute.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how about Shinaka? We also talk about his friend. What about Sarada? Would she be his love interest or just his best friend in
I
your?
feel best friend.
Yeah, because like I said, Rika would be the girl he loves. Because it'd be basically Naruto and Sasuke, which I don't like that either.
Besides, I already got that with Boruto Sarada.
Yeah, and I don't think they have chemistry themselves.
Yeah.
Sarada is likable, but she's still not a good character.
No. At least with Bulma and Vegeta, it's actually a lot better.
Yeah. How about Shinakachu and Konohamaru? Would they be like big brothers, little brother siblings?
Yeah, I could see that.
Especially, I could see Naruto. I could see on the day he was born, he asks Konohamaru to train him when he gets older, and Konohamaru feels honored. Of course, in my future cage, Naruto thinks he's best. He and Sora's son are, of course, our best friends.
Yeah.
How about if you were gonna give him a final arc? I would have it be better than the one thing. Be better than the war arc.
Yeah.
I would give a villain a better villain that has more personality than Kyuga.
Actually make them more of a threat.
Yes, and make and base I would base them off of plenty of evil villains, good
I
evil.
actually have the I kind of make them kind of like a Final Fantasy villain, how evil they are.
Yeah, like Kefka.
Yes, and maybe Kuja, like with their narcissism, that they
Yeah,
refuse to let the world exist without them.
yeah. I could see Shinakachu calling them out saying the world would be not only the world would be better off without you. You will be better without you. I know that doesn't
Or
really
one
make.
that actually was defeated but came back even stronger, having conquered heaven and hell.
Yeah, it'd be like a safer Sephiroth fight.
Or you have one where they become the god of discord chaos itself.
Yeah, and Shinakachu and his friends beat him, and then Shinakachu checks on his father and he gives him the cure, and Naruto wakes up and says, "I'm proud of you, son."
I can see Sheena being like a bawling mess, hugging his dad once
Yeah,
sees he's cleared.
yeah. One thing I would never do is kill off Naruto.
If you do have him like go out fighting,
Yeah, and and say say Sakura as final words.
yeah. But I feel like he'd also be standing as he passed, kind of like he wouldn't have gone down. He would have just stayed standing even after he died.
Yeah. And according to the Saiyan Jedi, he based he had Naruto had a funeral. Basically based it off of Superman's funeral in Justice League.
Yeah, I could see Naruto having something like that, and between Superman and like Thorin from The Hobbit.
Yeah, and Sakura at her funeral balls, and if Hanami was younger, she would sound like Alicia from Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah, I could totally see that.
Why are they putting Daddy in the dirt?
But Daddy has so much work to do.
That kind of made me tear up a little bit.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Lay really sold that scene.
Yeah, maybe she could voice little Hanami.
Oh yeah, that I could totally see that.
Yeah, and
When she Hanami's adorable.
yeah, when she grows up, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she goes from Jeremy Lay to Lucy Christina.
Yep.
Or would you say like, if not Johnny and Bob, would you say like Eric Vale is Sheena?
Sure.
'Cause I could kind of see him having like an Eric Vale type voice,
I can see that too.
as you'll see
And-
later with Sanji.
Yeah, I'm curious to see Sanjay in the next
Oh,
one.
you'll see him feud with Zoro a lot.
I'm starting to love Zoro.
Zoro is like one of the best characters in the show.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Robot Chicken hasn't done a Zoro versus Zoro man. You know, like the Antonio Banderas Zoro.
Yeah, I don't think that Zoro's even gonna stand a chance against One Piece Zoro.
Yeah, I could. You know that scene when Homer watched Zoro. That Zoro.
I
There's
think I remember that one.
Yeah, there's this one scene where what would Zoro do? He daydreams about Zoro fighting the Southern Gentleman. The Southern Gentleman shoots him, and Homer says, "Zoro!"
I really gotta get back to Simpsons. I really want to see more
Yeah.
of these.
I just, I just, I just, I just, I just. That's how I've seen Naruto, minus the choking his son part. Be his
Yeah,
doofus like Homer, but lovable.
yeah.
You know, in the first season, they made Homer smarter than Marge.
Did they? I really wasn't paying attention when I watched it.
Yeah, and that one episode where he sold they sold their TV and had to go to family.
Oh yeah, they go to that shock therapy and he got double his money back.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I thought that's out of character of Homer. Then again,
Homer's
they were,
smart.
huh?
This is before they found out why he's stupid.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna talk for a few minutes before we sign off, okay? Like
Okay.
10 to 15.
That's fine.
Okay. How about when Shinachiku gets older? What kind of dad would he be?
Probably some like his dad, maybe.
Yeah, but do you think Naruto would say you're gonna be a better dad than me?
Yeah, I could see that.
And she said, "That's impossible, Dad. You're the best dad a guy could ever have."
Imagine Naruto at Hanami's wedding.
He would cry. I would make her.
I see it kind of being like Lisa's wedding, how Homer was at that.
Yeah, I could see Hanami wearing Sakura's dress, old wedding dress.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Now we both had stuff going on, and that
Yeah. Anyway, how about we're talking about Naruto and Haname's wedding, right?
hmm
I can imagine him not letting go after he wants to give he has to give her away.
yeah, he just won't let go.
Yeah. And Sakura come walks in and releases Naruto's arm and feels embarrassed a little bit. And then
Imagine with Naruto and Hanami dancing after the wedding.
yeah, I would I would make the song I don't I would make the song your I don't know, it would be called You're My Hero cuz that would be fitting cuz Naruto was Haname's hero.
Yeah. The one question is, did Naruto still lose his arm in the fight with Sasuke?
In my head canon, no.
Okay, I just wanted to like ask that if he has that stupid Zetsu arm.
No.
Okay, because I don't do that either.
Maybe if I'm gonna have Sasuke live, Sasuke will. But he'll have one arm forever.
He seems to be doing fine without another arm currently.
Yeah. Although I do like in Design Jai's fic where he asks Naruto, "Are you sure this thing won't hurt?" And Naruto just smiled, implying that it's gonna hurt. If I don't know if I would have Sasuke be. I just disagree with having Sasuke involved in Shinachiku because I'm not a Sasuke fan. Period. I don't think he should.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not.
he causes
I
the
would.
downfall of Naruto and Sakura, like
Yeah,
Retro Greg said.
yeah, he does. Which is why I always have Naruto and Saga move on from him and have a happy life
Yeah,
without him in it till he comes back even more evil.
I just love evil Sakura. I mean, it's evil Sasuke. Sorry, I don't love evil Sakura.
I mean, Evil Saga could be done good depending on how you do it.
Yeah,
'Cause how I have Evil Saga is that he gets new power, but at the cost he loses his chakra and Sharingan.
yeah, and he's in. I would have him be in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, with the power he got, it's a small sacrifice because I still have to make him a threat too.
Yeah, me too. I am
I
proud to
should,
have him
I should
as
make
my.
him give him a Power Ranger villain's powers.
Or Kingdom Hearts.
I go Power Rangers because it's more like the newer seasons that came out.
Yeah, there's gonna be I found out Billy's gonna be a mentor.
I feel
And I think Zordon might come back.
I know Billy was trying to get Zordon back, but we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if the Dino team need a mentor because I feel that's what Zato was, kind of.
Yeah.
Then again, he was sleeping for 65 million years, so.
I think I heard Zed is coming back as the main antagonist.
Yes, he is.
That
They just can't get. They just won't let Zed go, will they?
no, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that because Zed was my favorite villain.
Yeah, because he's the one villain that was like really never truly defeated.
Yeah. Especially he was the first villain to show up at the command center. When I saw that as a kid, I was blown away.
Yeah, that shows how big a threat this is.
Yeah. Anyway, how about Naruto as a grandpa? Imagine his.
Oh, he'd love his grandkids.
Yeah, I think I could see Hanami being the first to have a child, and she rubs it in Shinachi's face.
Yeah, I could see that. I could
Yeah.
almost see her naming her kid after Naruto. Whether it's
Yeah,
a boy
she
or a
does.
girl.
She does, and she has her husband's last name too. I'm gonna have her marry Ino's son. With that or Shikamaru's son.
So Hanami Nara.
Yeah, does that sound good?
Well, her initials would be Hun.
Yeah. Yeah. And she names her son after her father.
Because if
And
it's a boy or a girl, it works both ways.
Yeah. Like Kitsuna did with Okina, naming her Naruto, and if she had a son, she would name him Naruto.
And she had a daughter named Naruko.
Yeah, and I remember being terrified of Naruto in that fic.
Yeah, because he was like ready to kill Hero.
Yeah, especially when Hero imagined what Naruto was gonna do after she told him.
Yeah, that pissed off Naruto.
Yeah.
I know one thing he said, like, I'll shove a Rasengan up his ass.
But in that fic, Naruto is still a better father than he is in Boruto.
Yeah, he's actually there for his kids.
Yep. You know,
I do like the scene where he and Toru are like all up on Hero, wanting to teach him the ways of the family.
yeah, and Sakura rolled her eyes. So, welcome to crazy family, Hero.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna stop. Okay.
All right, I gotta get going too.
Yeah, it's good to do this.
Yep.
We'll do if if um if First Evil can do it next week. We'll finish Cage final part of Cage Naruto. Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
You too.